Facebook's up for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on here. Nope, okay. All right, how we doing, guys? It's Aaron Bennett with Hacknation on Hacknation Live again here on a Wednesday night, doing what we do. If you guys don't know and it's your first time, every Wednesday from 7 to 9 Central Time, we come on here and try to give you some of our time. Rub shoulders with the community, be a part of it, and also help as many people as we possibly can. Tonight I have a special guest in here in the show with me. He's down from Canada. This is Dan Denning from Double D Mechanical up in Alberta, right?
How you doing tonight?
Perfect, Alberta. He is a Red Seal technician from Canada. We all know what we think about those Red Seal guys, but we'll forgive him for it tonight. Let him be on the show. He's down here to do some racing. He does racing rigs. If you guys want to check him out on TikTok, what's your TikTok handle?
Oh, it's Double D Mechanical.
Double D Mechanical. Are you on Facebook as well?
No, we're not.
Oh, you're not one of the.
And we're racing with the Mario High Performance Diesel.
Not one of the cool kids. He's only on TikTok. Sorry, guys, but pretty cool guy. Just getting to know him. He's doing some deals with my son down here, and I know he affiliates with Mario. What's Mario's last name?
Mario Manette.
Mario Manette. A lot of you guys know who he is. He's pretty prominent on TikTok and whatnot. And he's pretty prominent in the racing world. You're like completely affiliated with him, aren't you?
No, we're not through business, just through friendship and support the racing program together, and we do a lot of dynamic projects.
You guys do a lot of racing together.
Yeah, we do a lot of racing together. It's his race show, his race team, and
you're on the team.
Yeah.
Is that what you'd say?
Oh, yeah, cool. That's what we say. Yeah.
Cool. And you have your own race truck as well.
No, not really.
Well, you're about to debut it.
We're working on stuff.
He's going to debut a DD16. Has anybody ever done that?
No. To my knowledge, we're the first ones that have done anything with the DD in the performance side. There's zero aftermarket support. We're just trying to prove a concept.
Right on. Yeah. Anyway, guys, he's down here, so why not have him on the show? He's going to be racing Friday, so he's just here for now. But he does own a heavy truck and equipment repair shop up in Canada. He can probably bring a little different insight. To the show tonight. He's certainly qualified. State qualified apparently to help me answer questions and stuff like that. I'm glad you all are here. We already got one caller. As you guys know, this is a call-in show. It's caller-centric. You guys help us drive the conversation. We are here for you guys. That's what the whole show is about. The number to call in, guys, is 573-422-4225. Again, 573-422-4225. Mr. Corey here says DD16 race truck. That's interesting. Yeah, that's what I said when you told me. I was thinking, I mean, but why not? Right?
Common rail is big potential.
Why not? Why not? How is it any different? Guys, if you're joining us from TikTok, we encourage you to go over to Facebook or YouTube to watch this. I have, that whole thing I do where I include the caller on TikTok. I'm not going to be able to do that tonight because I have a guest. And I kind of use that headset that he's got on his head to transfer the caller over to you guys. So obviously I'm not going to be able to do that tonight. So highly encourage you to go over to Facebook or YouTube to watch this. We're streaming live there, of course. It's much more interactive. You can interact with the caller, or you can hear the caller and whatnot. If you're over on TikTok, all you hear is these two sorry saps. So again, guys, one more time, the number to call in is 573-422-4225. We're going to start taking calls here in just a second. We already have callers. Somebody said, rest in peace, Charlie. I'm sure you guys all saw what happened to Charlie there. He got shot. Wow, what a thing. What a thing that is. What a crazy place we live in here in the United States. You guys don't have to worry about that up there in Canada. They took all your guns, right?
They're trying.
They're trying. Because that always cures all the crime, right? Yeah. Ask Australia how that worked out. Anyway, you ready to take a caller? Or?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Oh, wow, we got 4 callers now. They're stacking up quick. Try not to hit the table. Every time you do, that thing goes everywhere.
I don't notice me.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
All right, we had to do some last-minute instructions, and we're ready to go. Hello, you're on the air. I don't see what your name is. What can we do for you? Yep.
I hear you.
Um, sorry, we were having some technical difficulties. Can you say that last part again? You got okay. We fixed our technical difficulties, so go ahead. I mean, in my personal opinion, and we'll see what Dan has to say about it. In my personal opinion, you know, it would be no question for me. I mean, you know, the B model is going to have much more displacement. It's going to, give you a lot more power reliably than that big cam's going to do. Although Dan might argue that because I was just talking to him a little bit ago, and he was telling me about the big cams that he's going to go watch race on Friday, pushing out what you say, 2,000 or 3,000 horsepower.
Yeah, I think they're just under 2,000 to the wheels on a big cam, but that's race stuff, not work stuff. So
Everybody's saying they can't hear the caller. What is going on? Why can't we hear the caller? I don't know. Maybe they can hear the caller now. Dan, what do you? Why don't you try to answer his question there? What do you think? Give your opinion on a B model versus a big cam.
I would say B model, to be honest. I think the availability of parts is stronger still. I think they're a bit of a cleaner engine, a little more robust, in my personal opinion. But it depends on who you got working on them. Is another big thing, because if you don't have anybody that can work on a B model for you, then it's no good to you.
Do you get that? Hello. The other, I mean, I don't have any problem getting big cam parts personally, but the other thing is you got to consider is which is the one's the most affordable for you. If your budget's unlimited, certainly the B model. If the big cam's already in the truck and it can stay in the truck and be some kind of an in-frame, that could play a huge factor in your decision making. Did you die? Well, most likely the negative ramifications of that are going to be a ruined crank. Right, and what's wrong? What's wrong with the big cam? Yeah, I mean it's in you. I mean they're both comparable motors. You just got to figure out what you want to have. and which one's going to be the most affordable if you don't really care. Oh, I figured it out. Maybe they can hear us now. I think I figured it out.
So
Now, yeah, I need a teenager in here to fix the damn thing for us.
I'm new here.
Good God. Anyway, brother, let us wrap this call up so I can try and figure out what's going on with our system. All right.
yeah, no problem.
All right. Good luck, man.
Thanks for your opinion.
Yep. Bye.
Yep. Hey, bye.
Man, that echo was fucking horrible. All right. Can you guys hear us now? I think we can hear everybody. Did you hear the caller? You all hear me? I think I got it figured out. Let's roll back here. I saw Charlie from Pure Diesel Repair. He said hi to you. You probably didn't see that. I think it was, Charles France. He said, "What's up, Dan? Good to see you." Charlie, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I know of him. I didn't get to watch anything today because I was flying. But,
oh,
yeah.
I assume by his comment that you guys knew each other, but is what it is. Again, guys, if you're watching on TikTok, we were having some technical difficulties. We got it all figured out. We're not going to be able to have the caller. You're not going to be able to hear the caller tonight because we have a guest, which is fine. But we encourage you to go over to Facebook or YouTube where you can actually hear the caller. If you guys are on hold, we're going to get to you here in a minute. That last caller was a shit show for us trying to figure out getting everything going here. So we're off and running now. If you guys are new or, just joined the show, I have Dan Denning here from Double D Mechanical. He's a Red Seal technician down from Canada. He does own a heavy duty truck and equipment repair shop up there. He's affiliated with Bennett Truck Center. They're doing some stuff together. You're visiting for that. He's down here to do some truck racing just above Dallas, I believe. Correct?
Yeah. Yes. Just outside Dallas.
And you were telling me you guys do about an engine a week out of your shop. That's moving some shit.
It's not bad. We're pretty small scale. We're still a young company. Haven't been pushing volume, just pushing quality mostly. We're trying to. Our population is a lot different than down here, obviously. So just getting our feet wet.
I think most places would consider an engine a week getting it done.
Yeah, we'll try.
All right, guys, we're back to the phone lines. Hopefully this is a little less of a shit show. Jesse Murphy is what it says on here. You're on the air. How can we help you, brother?
Small block Chevy. No, I'm kidding. How you guys doing today?
Good. What can we do for you?
Hey, I got a 3406E model Cat, 2000 Peterbilt, and last month, I guess I'm having some troubleshooting problems. But last month I had my oil changed, and it started running about 240. So I brought it home, and I dropped the oil pan. It had a little bit of shavings in it. Nothing too bad. So I changed the oil cooler, the water pump, thermostats, and put a new sending unit in it and whatnot, man. And I cannot get this thing to come off 240 degrees on my oil. What should I possibly look at next?
see that red seal come out.
That's an interesting one. Oil temp on a cat's usually not a problem, my opinion.
So,
Got to think of that one.
I'll throw my opinion out there. I want to try and give. I'm going to tease you about your red seal quite a bit tonight.
I know.
So you know.
That's all good.
I have to give red seal over there a chance to answer it first.
New nickname.
If red seal can't answer it, redneck will throw a try. All right, that's how we'll go about this. So there's really only one thing that can give you high oil temps on your Caterpillar there, and for the most part, most engines. You know, the Cummins really being the exception. Your ISXs with their thermostat setup, they purposely heat the oil up really bad. But if you're having a cat that, especially if it's just suddenly making a lot of heat in the oil, that screams a lot of combustion gas going into the crankcase. That's the only thing that could superheat your oil. Other than obviously a plugged oil cooler, which is incredibly unlikely, right? I'm not saying it's impossible. There's anything that could be going on. But if you're just randomly seeing really hot oil temperatures, and you're also seeing metal and this and that, the most likely scenario is you're getting a lot of combustion gas going into the oil and just heating the living shit out of it.
What's your boost running like? Your boost drop at all?
My boost, no, I put a new air-to-air on it because I was trying to beat all. I've stuck a lot of money into it. I put a new air-to-air. I checked the boost leaks. I'm building about 40 pounds of boost pressure. It's got 174,000 miles on a crate motor. Oil pressure, I got great oil pressure. You know, it's 65, 70 pounds of oil pressure. For some reason, the oil started getting 230, 240 degrees.
So you must be running a tune on it if you're pushing that kind of boost pressure.
It's 550, 1850, 5232 codes in the injectors. It's got a stage 1 Bully Dog turbo with a full tilt manifold.
So you're pushing a little bit of number there.
Yeah, probably, 38 to 40. The gauge shows about 40, but, it could be off just a little bit.
And you hooked up to the CT2, it's not a gauge issue, 100%?
The gauge is hooked up to the intake side of the cat.
You hook Cat ET into.
Say that again.
A Cat electronic technician with a laptop. You're physically reading this. This isn't just a dash reading.
Have you verified it with a computer?
I haven't verified the boost with the computer, but I have verified like the water temperature with the computer. I haven't got to hook it up to a dyno, no.
Right on. I mean, it can really only be one of two things, and Dan might have another opinion, and he can certainly give it and argue with me or whatever else. He's more than welcome to do that. But there's really, on your cat specific, you can really only be one of two things: the oil cooler's clogged, or your combustion gas is causing.
Put a new one on it.
Causing the heat. Okay, so it's your combustion gas. You got broken rings or something like that, and you're putting a shit ton of combustion gas into the crankcase.
Okay, there ain't really no blow-by. It's not using any oil. There is a little bit of pressure.
This is a new problem.
But not a lot.
This is a new problem. You clarified that in the beginning.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right, it's a new problem. Give it some time to start showing that it's getting blow-by and you're using oil, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The part that's weird.
Okay.
You mentioned it's happened after you
Go ahead.
serviced it. You started getting high temperatures after a service?
Correct. Yes. Fresh oil.
Yeah, and that
about halfway through the oil change.
Here's something to also think about.
Go ahead.
If you have a combustion gas problem on a fresh oil change, it takes a little bit for that oil to really start consuming. It has to start breaking that oil down. Fresh oil change, it's going to slow down that consumption dramatically. I'm just saying.
I noticed the temperatures. So I changed the oil temperatures got hot about halfway through the oil change. The temperatures come down. I went ahead and run that oil change out. I changed the oil again, about 12,000 miles, mobile Delvac, and 1 gallon of Lucas. It just used a gallon like it normally did. And then I changed the oil again and went and got loaded. And as soon as I changed the oil, the temperature went back up. So I dropped the oil, I dropped the pan, I looked at the rods, and I didn't pull the rods and mains. I just looked up in there with a flashlight to see if I could see any discoloration, and I really couldn't see any discoloration. And the metal shavings that I found in the motor or in the oil pan that was on the front sump, you know, the oil plug that sits on the very front of the motor, or the cat that holds about a half gallon or better of oil up there, that was the only place that had metal in it. And it was almost like you took a pocket knife and took a block of metal and took your pocket knife like Grandpa would peel the peeling off an apple and kind of scraped it across it a little bit. And there was about 3 pieces in there, about the size of a fingernail.
Yeah. Obviously there's some steps you should take, like some of that are being referred to in the comments, you know, run an oil analysis, stuff like that. Have you been running it since you found this metal and you changed the oil this last time? Have you been running it?
Not this last time, no.
Okay.
I didn't want to blow it up. I got a lot of money in it.
Okay, so here's the thing. You also have it tuned up to an extent, right?
Okay.
Not for the guy sitting beside me, right? I
No,
can see
it's
he's
fine.
like, we're tuned up. What the fuck is this guy talking about, right? But for an engine with almost 800,000 miles on it and working man's
174,000
I thought you said
on a crate motor.
Oh, okay.
174,000.
Right, and the other thing you got to realize is, you know, you're running a stock tune and just putting a bunch of fuel to the injectors and stuff like that. That's not a healthy scenario either. Necessarily.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to get at is if I was a betting man, right? If I was a betting man, I am betting you have a combustion gas going in the crankcase issue. You are using oil. You're using Lucas in your engine, which I have no clue why you would be doing that, especially at 170,000 miles. And you're consuming a gallon of oil. Now, unless you have external oil leaks, you're really consuming 2 gallons of oil with a gallon of Lucas in your engine on only 170,000 miles. You're consuming a gallon of oil with Lucas mixed into it. That's actually quite a bit, right? Where go?
I've had the same truck for 10 years and it's always done it. You know, I mean, this is a different motor, but it's always done it. It blows it out of the blow-by tube a little bit on the step. You know, there'll always be speckles on the stainless steel steps.
Yeah. Have you tried running with your fan override on? Get your coolant temperature down? Does that affect your oil temperature at all?
Have I tried to do what now?
Turn your manual fan on, so your thermatic fan is on consistently. Does that help aid your oil temperature and bring it down?
Man, I tell you what, I took it over to the shop the other day, and they haven't messed with it yet, but I took it over to the shop, bobtail. I started the truck up. I drove it over there, and it seemed like it was running 180. You know, it seemed like it was doing good. Well, I was sitting in the parking lot with the fan on because my truck it's an older truck, so it's only got a manual fan. I have to pay attention to the gauge and turn my fan on and off.
Okay.
When I got to the shop and turned my fan on, while I was sitting there letting the truck cool down, the oil temperature actually started rising up to about 200, from 180 to 220, just sitting there. You know, I sit there about five or 10 minutes, you know, get my stuff out of the truck and all that stuff, letting it, I don't know, do a cool down. I know everybody doesn't agree upon that, but, you know, letting the truck cool down, the oil started jumping up there and temperature just sitting there idling.
There's something wrong with that oil cooler. If it's building oil temperature at idle, it should never, ever exceed coolant temperature at idle. It should just sit there consistent and hold it. Coolant at 180 or 190,
oil will be exactly the same at idle. There's no way to gain oil temp at idle. So there's got to be something plugged or wrong with that oil cooler on that thing.
That's some new information.
Okay. Could I load a compressor and it be putting? You said something about like combustion gas in the motor. You know, could it have done something like that?
Well, I mean, in light of new information, if you're having, problems like this when you're just sitting there, this gentleman is hitting the nail on the head. I mean, you got to look at, you got to go backwards. What do these things do? They put oil through the oil cooler. The coolant cools the oil. That if that vital thing is not happening, you're going to have really hot oil. If that is happening and you still have hot oil, there's only one other thing that can cause it, and that is 2,000 degree gas going into your oil, right? So there's only two things that can cause it.
Yes, sir.
Well, he's got an excellent point. You don't have gas, unless you have broken rings like crazy and stuff like that. You don't really have a lot of gas going down into the crankcase. At an idle.
And a gallon between oil changes is not to worry.
No, it's not to worry.
Okay.
It's not to worry, but if you're adding Lucas, Lucas is going to reduce your oil consumption quite substantially. It just does. I mean, that's one of the things it's famous for doing. So I'm worried that if you're adding a gallon of Lucas from day one, you're still using a gallon, or you're really using like 2 gallons and kind of masking a problem and this and that.
There might be something plugged in your oil filter housing that's not letting oil get to the cooler properly.
Yeah, you do have bypass valves.
Yeah.
Okay. I replaced the bypass valves. An older gentleman out of Mr. Rob Smith from SH Tubes out of Corbin, Kentucky. He helped me put the motor in the truck 2 years ago, and he told me to replace them release valves in the top of the oil cooler. So I did that, or not oil cooler, but the oil filter housing.
Well, I guess that the consensus here would be take your oil cooler off.
I'd say cooler.
Yep, take
New
your
or
oil
not,
cooler
it's
off.
something wrong with that oil cooler.
Again, even though I just replaced it.
Yep. New parts go bad or are built incorrectly, or there's something in it that shouldn't be.
All
okay.
Right. All right,
okay. Well, I'll look at that. Okay. All right. Thank y'all.
Yep. Have a good night and good luck.
You too.
I don't think it's the oil cooler personally.
No.
Well, I mean,
it's building temp at idle.
Yeah, and still, there's something else going on. It could be building temp at idle because the head's cracked out, and a myriad of other reasons. I first of all, not to be an ass to him or anything, but I have a hard time believing the 550 tune story. I think it's probably got a tune on it.
Well, if it's got a bully dog, it's got something, probably 50 at least, but that shouldn't make big temps.
He's got some kind of
something
tune
else
on it.
going on.
Right. I think there's probably something else going on for sure. For sure.
We're missing some information.
Get a phone call on our phone call line. Anyway, sorry guys, we're gonna get right back to the callers. I have quite a few people on hold here. Just for conversation's sake, feel free to scan the comments, right?
Yeah, I've been trying to.
If there's any comment that you feel like you want to comment on, just don't let me take a call. We can comment on it, talk about it, this and that, and then we'll take another caller, okay?
Okay.
So there's usually lots of good comments, and if your eyesight's good enough, you can see there's a lot of good comments on TikTok all the time as well. Guys, if you're watching on TikTok, we encourage you to go over to Facebook and YouTube, watch it over there. We're streaming it live. You can hear the caller over there. It's a way better experience. And the number to call in, guys, is 573-422-4225. That's 573-422-4225. We have Matthew on. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, so I just had a quick question. I have a Freightliner glider with the 60 series in it. It's actually my first semi. I bought it got a really good deal on it. Had been sitting a while and had fuel algae. Disclaimer: when I bought it, wasn't really, I guess, up to par on what all fuel algae could do. It had a miss and it had a injector fault, and so I just assumed a set of injectors and I'd have a $10,000 truck. Well, that wasn't the case, and so took it to a local shop in Indianapolis, a Detroit place, and they ended up doing all injectors, a head, fuel system, did everything. Well, other than it had a miss at idle, it didn't have any other problems. I'm having a Jake issue is my issue. So when the truck is cold, and when I say cold, I mean like not above 200 degrees, you know, when you very first take off and whatnot. If you go to turn your Jakes on, it almost wants to choke the truck out, and it has. It when it very first happened, it caught me off guard and it killed the truck out. And it smokes white real bad. And then it acquires a knock. And then once you shut the Jake off and take back off, the knock goes away and it's just fine. Once you get up to 210 to 220ish, you could turn the Jakes on and you never have another issue. I took it back to the shop and they looked at the Jakes on it and said that they need it replaced from sitting. And I kind of have a hard time believing it because I didn't have this issue prior to dropping it off other than the misfire. And so I was kind of curious on what your take would be.
We're going to default to red seals tonight. Come on now. It's red seals.
Did they do any
first,
harness work?
second.
Did they replace any harnesses when they had this head off? Or did they
Yes,
put the same harness?
it has new Jake cars.
Okay. And they never
as far as I know, it did not get rebuilt.
Okay. And does it is it on every stage, low, medium, high, or is it just on high that you have this problem?
It's just a two-step Jake, and it's on both of them.
Oh, okay. Sounds like you got a sticking Jake actuator, in my opinion.
Real quick, what was the engine again? What was the make?
60.
60 series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What DDEC version is that?
Yep.
What year?
It's a 98.
Oh, 98. So it's DDEC 3 or 4. Yeah, the good ones.
So what would cause it to smoke white then if it is just a sticking Jake?
Holding the valve open. Of course. Yeah. That's 100% related to your...
You're just dumping compression and adding fuel.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not a mystery. That one we both got down.
We ought to agree on something today.
Yeah, right. I mean, so, it screams to me Jake solenoid or something, right? But we recently had one in this shop doing the exact same thing as Caterpillar, and it ended up actually being the slave valve was stuck. It would get stuck when it would actuate, and then once you had power going to it, it would just stay stuck and pushing all the time. Yeah. And we ended up ultimately having to. We actually just took that Jake head out and threw it aside and put a different one on because it was one of our builds. We rebuilt Jake head but didn't do the slaves. The guy was obviously here. We're getting ready, trying to get rid of him. And I never did go back and see what was going on with it, but it was actually the slave was causing the problem, not the solenoids. Solenoids were new, and it had a regular Jake brake rebuild kit done to it. What are the odds you think that it's, which of those two do you think is more likely?
A piece of debris could have gotten in the Jake head during repair, or it's just simply a Jake head that's stuck. It's got some gum in it.
Will the solenoid even cause that problem, you think?
Oh, not really. Unless the solenoid's not fully closing with its cold oil in it. Needs hot oil to seal itself.
So why wouldn't I have that issue once it gets to operating temps in?
Because oil's thinner and your Jake heads are the last thing to get warm. It takes quite a while for the heat to get soaked up in the top end of that engine. If you notice on a cold engine, your Jakes don't act the same as they do on a hot engine because it's literally just a dead end of oil flow. The hot oil takes a while to get up there and heat.
You could also have the little plungers that are in there that could be shattered as well, and be causing it to act really stupid. Yeah, I can't remember what you call them.
Nope,
the nipple that the springs sit on. Those will actually shatter.
Like a relief valve, or like I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it.
I don't remember the name of it either, but but usually when those shatter, they give you really weak jakes. Your jakes will still work properly, but the jakes will just be really, really weak, and they just make noise pretty much because they're not holding the pressure back. Has to be the slave.
I would get a jake rebuild kit for that one, depending which jake head it has on it. You can buy the million pieces and rebuild those jakes, little springs and pistons.
They're pretty easy to do.
I'll say it seems like a safe assumption that if I redo the jake system on it, it'd be okay.
I would say so. If it was electronic, it'd be consistent.
Okay. It was just one of those things I didn't want to keep throwing money at it.
And a jake rebuild kit for that's probably, I haven't bought one of those in a while, but they're probably pretty inexpensive.
Probably in hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In a couple $100 range. Yeah. The most expensive ones I've ever seen.
Well, that's what the
models. But you know, for a regular
shop that did all my work, shop that did all my work, they quoted me almost $4,000 to rebuild the jakes on it. And that's kind of when I was like, I think I could run it without jakes until I recoup my money.
Yeah, that's probably because they were just going to buy new jake heads.
That sounds accurate.
Okay.
Because they're about, I'm not sure how much those are, but they usually run right around $1,400-$1,600 a head. That's probably all they just priced out new jake heads for you is what they did. Instead, they're going to rebuild them. So.
All right. Well, Pay, I appreciate it, guys. And you guys have a good night.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Bye.
Okay, there's only one rule. You can't be smarter than the host, okay? So.
Well, I'm a red seal.
Yeah, right. I see you look right. You look tired. You look incredibly tired.
Yeah, I left the house at 3 this morning. So.
Wow.
Flight was at 6 out of Edmonton and then transfer twice, but that's how she goes. Hour drive to the airport, be there 2 hours early.
Okay, so we'll try to forgive you. We'll try to forgive you guys. Again, guys, if you're watching on TikTok, I encourage you to go over to Facebook and YouTube to watch this. We got lots of guys on hold, so we probably just need to burn through some of the callers here, at least catch up. We got some people that have been on 16 or so minutes just on hold here. So, Craig, we're going over to you.
I've been on 32.
You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Sorry. Yes, I got a Detroit Series 60. I called in a while back and talked to you about it, and you said you need to take that thing and get it flashed. And so I took it to the dealership. It's because the actuator, it just flutters. And I've come to realize it only does it when it's cold. I mean, I can drive across the country. It only worries me when I first started, but once it gets up to temperature, that actuator don't flutter anymore. But I can't. I've had it to a dealership a couple of times, and they charged me $812 to diagnose it and another $699 to flash it. And says they got it figured out, but they didn't. I got it home cold. Go to start it back up. It'll still do it. I wish I could post a video of it doing it here so you could see it, but I can't figure it out for nothing. It fluttered. I mean, it's like a jackhammer. It goes so fast. And it's a Detroit Series 60, 14 liter. I think it's a 5, pretty sure.
No DPF, just EGR on it?
Yes, no DPF. Just EGR. And I mean, that you could make that actuator move faster than it does. And I don't know, but then once it warms up, it just quits. For occasion, it might do it once it's warmed up, but
does it happen when you don't have low truck air? Like you have zero air in the morning and you're starting this thing, and then once it gets up to air pressure, then the actuation goes away?
Actually, it's now that you mention it, it starts right around the time the turbo, because it's when you first air it up, the system don't really seem like it's airing up, but when it requires more power, that's when you can kind of start hearing the turbo kick in, and that's when you'll start hearing it doing that. It might do it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then it may go away, and then it'll just come back, but it will consistently at some point in time do it off and on while it's cold. But once it's warm, you can drive it across the country. You can set and let it idle and everything. It's just till you get to that warm up temperature, and then it's like it don't do it no more.
Quick question: is it smoking?
No, it runs perfect. Has a lot of power and everything. Do you mean when it's doing it, or just in general when you're driving it?
Obviously, it's when I'm asking when it's doing it. You know.
Oh no, I don't really notice nothing when it's doing it either, or when it's driving, I guess.
Right.
So either way, no.
I think Dan here has already nailed it on the head.
The V-pods, there's a thing called a V-pod on a V-pod actuator. It's just an air solenoid mounted on those that controls the turbo actuator.
Yeah.
So they're very dependent on air pressure.
Yep, I've changed that.
Right. That was one of my suggestions, because they sometimes get full of gum or don't want to actuate properly, and then your turbo actuates funny. Obviously, it's very.
The only thing, I changed that once, and the only reason I haven't just kind of put off changing it again to see if it was it is because they're like about $600, and I did changed it once. Is there a way to test them so I don't throw away another $600?
Borrow buddies. They're junk.
I guess that's a good idea.
Did it cure your problems last time?
No. That's why I'm so hesitant, because here's the problem last time, and so I'm hesitant that it'll cure the problem this time, even though we all know we get bad parts on occasion.
Could be the compressor itself.
Well, it depends on how the V-pod's getting its air. Maybe somebody bypassed the air and it's on the wrong circuit.
It runs great.
Yeah.
Right. And usually when the
it runs good.
When the V-pod's having a problem, they don't run that great.
No, they're low on booster.
Right.
They code for turbo.
No, I run through Pennsylvania, West Virginia. I mean, I'm not at 40,000 pounds. I'm probably at 28 to 30, but I have no problems pulling hills or keeping up the guy beside me and everything. It's just that noise. I wish you could just see. I actually got out and videotaped it when it's getting cold, and you can watch the actuator in that turbo. Just, you couldn't think of making something bounce faster.
That says V-pod to me, or the harness to it. Those harnesses tend to wear out and break short. And
yeah, I replaced the.
I'm not trying to disagree with you on everything, but if it was a harness issue, it wouldn't come and go. I wouldn't go away later when it warms up. It's got to be the actuator.
And
it's really got.
I replaced the harness. I don't know if it's the same harness that you're speaking of, but the whole harness on the driver's side of the motor, the whole harness on the driver's side of the motor that goes to the sensor harness, I replaced all of that. To try to correct this.
There's a jumper harness that goes straight to that V-pod that's aside from your main engine harness. And that's usually the problem. And
okay, well, that part I have not replaced.
That wouldn't be a cheap try.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can just take the old one and plug it in place of it. Don't you have to remove put the new one in over the old one, because they're not fun to get out. But if you just want to try it, put it in there, tie it up properly, leave the old one behind and try it out. Because if it's got a break in a wire, or the wires are old enough that there's too much resistance, they won't be controlling that solenoid properly, and the heat affects the solenoid, or heat affects the wire, which affects your solenoid. They're super sensitive. The DDEC will have a good input or output system to them. They won't code for it. They'll just act up.
Yep. At this point, I'd like to get it fixed, but at this point, I'm so used to it when it's cold. It had me a nervous wreck for a load, but at this point, I'm so used to it that just once it warms up, the thought goes out of your head. It's just weird. But I appreciate your time. I know you got other callers. I think I'm going to try that because I replaced that engine harness. The jumper over to the V-Pod is the only thing I haven't tried that I can think of. So I may do that and borrow another V-Pod if that don't work and go from there.
All right, man. Good luck.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, thanks.
Yep. Bye.
You want to ask that Red Seal one?
Yeah, I was going to. Or you could.
No, go ahead. I'm looking for it.
So
guy.
somebody asked what the
gentleman's
fuck
name?
is Red Seal certified? Canada kind of does things a little bit different than us. Of course, you can clarify all that here in a second.
Yeah.
But long story short, if you're a mechanic in Canada, you basically have to be certified by the state, is what it comes down to. You're not going to just go get in a shop and get some experience under your belt and then be able to hold the title of I'm a mechanic. And I think that you're pretty limited on jobs you're technically allowed to do, isn't it?
Well, you're allowed to do anything you want, but if you want to get paid what you're worth, you got to have the credentials to go with it, more or less. It's not like being a lawyer. You got to have a license to practice. But if you want to own a shop or do inspections or essentially build a profession of yourself, you got to have that ticket behind you, which is an apprenticeship. You go to school for a couple months, you do your hours and repeat. It's a 4-year program where we're from.
And it's kind of the opposite here in the United States, really.
It is.
And what I really mean by that is, if a guy goes to school, he's actually probably going to, if he's not coming from these real world experiences where he's got repertoire and maybe has some references and stuff like that, and he's just coming out of school, he's probably going to get shit on pretty bad unless he's going into a dealership, right? If he's not going into a dealership, he's probably going to get paid less than what he's worth. Versus, it's kind of the exact opposite, is if you're not going, let's say you go to school and this and that, and you go for you're really not going to find it. Even my Starlink has problems. Obviously that's not a rule, but I talk to shops all the time and this and that, and most guys aren't interested in somebody that doesn't have real world experience. They just went to school, and I'm not saying that that's, it sounds like when you're getting your Red Seal, you are doing hands-on and stuff like that, but there's just not as much value in it here in the States as there is, seems to be up in Canada.
Yeah, it's just set up differently, but pretty much anybody's in the trade gets their schooling and they work towards their ticket.
Right.
The Red Seal means you're allowed to go interprovincial, so be like state to state, you're good through all of them, and then you can be without your Red Seal and you're only good in Alberta, for example. It's kind of a different program, but
right. Well, there's no program here.
Right.
I mean, there's no program at all.
Here you privately take tests or courses to ASE yourself, or how does that work?
If people feel like doing that.
If you want to get specialized in something, you take
but
tests.
Even your ASE certified stuff and guys like that, they're really going to be the guys at the parts counter.
Oh, okay.
They're not.
Yeah, we have a parts apprenticeship too for Red Seal, and then there's a Red Seal welder, there's Red Seal plumber, there's pretty much any of the trades you could think of come with a Red Seal attached if you pass it.
Well, now you guys know.
Yeah.
Now you guys know. So you have a Red Seal and you have a redneck, and we're hoping to help you out. There was another question on here I wanted to answer, but I don't remember what it was. So anyway, we will go back to the callers. We have a lot of them. So if you're on hold, guys, thank you for being on hold. We're going to get to you here. We'll stop bullshitting and start getting to the calls. There's no caller name. You're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hey, good evening, Mr. Hack.
Good evening.
Yeah, I appreciate the logic there of these Canadians. Being a Canadian myself, I appreciate him joining you there. Quick question I have on a deleted ACER, being the VVAs are deleted or IVAs are deleted, and you just plug out the pre-cooler. Does that stay open or does it close halfway?
You're still twin turbo with the pre-cooler?
What do you think?
Deleting the VVAs doesn't have anything to
just
do with your pre-cooler.
Well, that's what we did, and so the pre-cooler is plugged out now.
Why?
There's I'm not sure, honestly, but to my knowledge, it was because of the tuning. Because in my experience, you can't run a Caterpillar ACERT that's IVA deleted that with a Caterpillar tune, with an ACERT tune. You have to modify it. As far as I know, I could be way out on this.
When you're tuning a twin turbo ACERT to not run VVAs, you typically have to. Yeah, you have to. Are they backed out? You have to do all these things that you're going to overboost that thing because you have nothing controlling your boost. And the pre-cooler is something you always keep. It's a good thing.
Yep.
You're cooling the air. I would never get rid of I would never shut the pre-cooler off unless you're getting rid of it, for example.
Yep.
Then you're relying on your air-to-air.
So, can you go into how a pre-cooler works a little bit, how the electronic side of it operates?
Yeah, you have a coolant diverter valve, and the electronic side of that is it's not going to start letting coolant into that until the engine's up to operating temperature. That's pretty much all it's for. That thing's going to open and stay open. It actually defaults. If it fails, it defaults in the open state, so it's always adding coolant. When it activates, it's actually shutting the coolant off to the system. That's kind of a fail safe, but you're shutting the coolant off just as while it's getting up to operating temperature, which doesn't take very long. That actuator doesn't do a whole lot, right? And if you're, that's why it's not a D-rate code if you have a problem with it, because it's defaulting to open. Same thing with your oil diverter valve and all of that, right? Your oil and your coolant diverter valves are all defaulted to open all the time if they have a failure. So they don't cause you to have D-rate issues. The purpose of it is to pre-cool the air, obviously, coming from the turbo before it gets to the intercooler. It has a couple of benefits. For one, it cools off your air more than if you didn't have one, number one. Number two, the secondary thing that it does is if you do have a turbo failure, it will keep anything from making it through the intercooler to the intake side of your engine and destroying your valves in your head and all of that. I've always loved them for that reason. You know, a single turboed engine has a much higher propensity, well, it has the only propensity to have the turbo go through the engine. An ACERT is the only engine out there that I know of that it's literally impossible for it to happen. So if you do have a turbo failure, you just have to replace the turbo. You're not replacing an entire engine. You know, in my opinion, you have a 30 or 40% chance of destroying an engine if you lose a turbo just from shit going through the cooler.
Yeah.
Why do you have VVAs turned off on it if it's all stock, essentially on the outside?
It's not stock as far as internal components go. We have changed the piston heads to 16-to-1.
Okay. And
aftermarket head, but that shouldn't really matter. But yeah, that's been our understanding is closer you get to the 6NZ with these ACERTs, and once you have to work on them, then, you know, single turboing it, 16-to-1 compression, you know.
So you have single turboed it?
Beefier. No,
it's
the one
twin.
I'm talking about with
yeah, it's
this
an odd combination. Usually if you do a compression drop, you single it and you hit the road.
It's pretty hard on it.
Yeah.
Really hard on it.
Yeah, that would be my, you know, imagination of it, but this is how
it's probably
this
really
one was
hard
set
on
up.
Fuel.
Yeah.
being
He has been having he has been having issues with fuel.
He needs to complete. He needs to complete the job.
Exhaust side.
Yep.
He has been having trouble with the fuel on the exhaust stroke.
Yeah, it doesn't have the
in there,
compression
but I don't
anymore
know
to be
if
running
that's
those twin
tuning.
turbos properly.
Yep.
So
He needs to finish the job
Yeah,
and go to a
that's
single
right.
turbo.
go to a single, get rid of that intercooler, the pre-cooler.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thing I had for you guys, as far as parts, access to parts displays, and you know, if a guy is working in his own shop at home and he's trying to look up parts and you know finding different available options to go with as far as online platforms go, what do you guys?
Just grab a 6NZ.
What do you guys
grab a
think?
grab a 6NZ engine serial number, and use that to order your oil return line, oil supply line, and your manifold, and then you can pretty much buy any turbo, you know, that's meant for a 550 plus application, depending on the horsepower that you're running. That goes to a single turbo cat. So you grab a 6NZ number and you can order all the parts that you need.
6NZ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 works.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get anything for that.
Yeah. Oh man, there you go. And then you just recommend just calling Caterpillar and
yep.
You know,
that's the only place you're going to find those items, right? You can get the turbo from anybody, but you know, you're going to need the oil return line block, the oil return line itself, and you're going to need the oil supply line. And you're also going to need the oil supply for the oil cooler. So there's a little list of parts, but just order it all for a 6NZ and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, Hack, if you don't mind, you know, what are your thoughts about Charlie getting, you know, what happened to him today? And
that's
I mean, you've been around, you know, you've been in Alaska, you've been in North Dakota, you're in Texas. You know, what do you think is going on with all that?
No, first of all, I think it's fucking horrible because I mean, he just had his third child, I believe it was, and they're all under 5. How terrible for them. How terrible for them, right? That's my biggest that's what hurts my gut and hurts my heart. Is how terrible for his children. What happened to him? I mean, I have my own mixed opinions. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't his biggest fan. I do like him quite a bit, but I wasn't his biggest fan. I did have, you know, a lot of bones I would have picked with him in person if I would have been, you know, somebody he was talking to on the other side of the table. Yeah, he's a human being and didn't deserve to be shot, and he's a family man and didn't deserve what happened to him, and it's incredibly heart-wrenching to see what happened. What do I think's going on there? I mean, anymore, the state of the world we live in and the governments that, you know, all the crazy stuff they do. I mean, my first impulse is always, you know, who killed him and why? Who had the motivation to do that? Do I think it was some crazy liberal? I mean, it seems like later on down the road, we always find out it was some kind of a psyop. I mean, who did he take a fall for? I mean, I have no clue. You know what I mean? But all I can say is at least
and hopefully,
at least we're not talking about Epstein anymore.
Yeah, no kidding. Hopefully it's not a political scandal, you know, trying to pin this on someone. But speaking of government, this new EPA deal that just came out, what is that doing for Caterpillar? Have you heard any developments in Caterpillar and manufacturers putting the cat back into their machines?
From what I've seen, there is no new EPA anything that has came out. There's a lot of debate and a lot of push and a lot of stuff going on where they're trying to make some changes. But as far as I can see, you know, I've seen some guys making videos talking about how all the changes that have happened. What I'm seeing is there's changes trying to be made, but currently nothing has changed that I know of. And you know, in the changes that they're proposing don't do a lot for any of us. You know, they're talking about taking it back to 2010, I think it is.
Well, you could get those, like, I mean, the EPA side of things. Huh.
They're talking about taking it back to 10. Well, what's
but
that?
10 still has DPF.
Right. What's that gonna get rid of? It's gonna get rid of the DEF fluid. That's it.
And Cat got out of the truck market because it was less than 5% of their shares. I was actually working for a Caterpillar dealer when it all came down. Cat got out of the cat and truck engine market because they're tired of dealing with third party. They don't want to deal with warranty claims. It's pointing fingers, OEM, it's Cat. Cat got out, said it's 5% of our engines. Why would we bother?
Yep.
So they pulled out, and then they brought in the Caterpillar truck. But that wasn't even made by Cat. That was made by Navistar, which is international, rebranded. And Cat's never going to get back the truck market. I would bet my house on it.
No, yep, not going to.
They're not going to waste their resources on trying to get back in a game and compete with OEM.
Yep. You know, the regulations that they're talking about getting rid of really only get rid of the DEF.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Okay.
Big deal. You're not.
Have you guys ever?
Everyone thinks that they're going to open up another side of their shop where they're just stripping all the EPA stuff off of trucks. That's not what I see. I see that.
I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know.
I see them getting rid of the DEF fluid because that's what the regulations roll it back to. Who cares? Who cares? They didn't do.
Have
shit.
you guys ever? One last thing for you guys. Have you ever put a VGT turbo on a Cat?
I wouldn't bother. I
No.
don't think it's a benefit, and I don't know how you tune it because Cat doesn't run one on a C15 if we're talking.
I have a friend in Georgia that's doing that to a Cat right now.
Interesting.
And I have no clue how it's going to turn out. He's not done yet, but he is doing it. I think there'd be a lot of benefit to it personally.
Well, Cat's robust all the way through.
Right,
Like,
but a VGT turbo in concept, you know, guys have
In
a lot
concept,
of problems with them and all that, but the VGT turbo does kick ass.
Like on an 870,
you're
for
right.
example, with the air actuation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like having a twin turbo setup, really, but it's all in one turbo.
The benefits of
it. I think they're badass.
if you could do it right, it'll be successful.
Right. But I mean, I would go right to what you were implying there. How do you tune that? How do you get the tuning right for that? There's no tuning for that. I mean, how do you map that? How do you make that happen? I would guess that's the main reason you've never seen a Cat running around with a VGT turbo. It's not because somebody's never thought, man, we should try a VGT turbo on a Cat. It's how do you make it actually work?
There's a couple on the smaller engines like C7 and C9 engines, but they're not good. They're horrible. It's the worst thing they ever put out there.
Huh.
Yeah.
And that's something Cat did?
Yeah, C7, C9S, the emissions engines.
Huh.
They put variable turbos on there, and they're garbage. Yeah, absolute garbage. Yeah. And the smaller chassis.
I've got a gentleman. He's building an adapter right now for the manifold, and then he says he's going to take the ECM off, and he's going to write his own flash file for it.
Well, good luck.
So somehow he
could do that, but there's no
somehow he
driver in there for
figured
a
it out.
turbo.
Right. And I don't know how my buddy plans on doing it, but he's wicked smart. So if anybody can pull it off, we'll see.
That is you should post an update on that. But you know, who knows?
I had him on the show
Have a good
just a
evening,
little while
guys.
back. But
You as well,
yes,
thanks.
sir. You too.
Oh, you did?
Yep. Have a good
bye.
night, brother. Bye. Oh, man, look at this. Okay, we're gonna have to avoid the feed here and stick with the callers. We got 10 people on hold. We're already in the bottom of the second hour, so there's probably 15 people or 10 people or so on hold. Some are already getting up there to a half an hour. We do appreciate you guys hanging on hold. We're gonna keep going here, try and get to you guys. Let's just keep getting after it. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sir. You're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hi, man. I recently pushed this truck, 2020 Kenworth with Cummins engine, and it's 825,000 miles. And recently I was told in one mechanic shop that it's better to change the main bearing and the connecting rod bearings and oil pump for it. And my question is, should I do it or should I just wait until the engine fails and then maybe just rebuild it? Because the price for this fixing is going to be around 2,500 to 3,000.
Do you have oil pressure issues at all? Is your oil pressure good?
No. Yeah, I mean, when I'm driving, it's 30, and when it idles, it's 15. But I usually, rev up the engine when am I doing?
Is your oil pressure is comparable to what it used to be?
Yeah,
it's good. So I would just leave it personally. If you do your maintenance and services, just leave it.
Yeah. I'm going to try to default as much as I can to letting you answer first.
Okay.
And because I'm really interested, he's got a different perspective, and I want to hear it. I don't know if the audience wants to hear it, but I want to hear what Dan here has to say. I'm going to agree with him 100%. Instead of, I can't believe how many people get rods and mains done as a maintenance item. And I own a shop. Maybe I should be the guy trying to talk everybody into that, but I don't agree with that. I think that a guy is way better off doing periodic oil samples. He's going to tell a lot more from that than I have 700,000 miles on it. Well, I've tore engines apart that have 1.5 million on them, right? And I tore apart engines that have 200,000 miles on them and they're fucked, right? So a periodic oil sample is going to tell you a lot more than I have 700,000. This guy's suggesting I should do rods and mains and an oil pump. You have good oil pressure, and I think Dan and I are probably in an agreement there. But there's a way to find out if you have things you need to be looking into, right? An oil sample. I mean, let me give you a great example. I have a truck that I recently rebuilt, and the gentleman pulled some oil samples. So probably only got 40, 50,000 miles on it. And it's showing some high levels of copper, right? It seems like I got 40, 50,000 miles on it. I said, well, you need to head back down here when you get a chance. So he's going to come back down here. We're going to drop the oil pan and check some bearings and stuff. Well, 40 or 50,000 miles, your contention here is, well, I have 700,000 miles. I don't think that's a good litmus. I think the litmus is let's pull some oil samples and then see what you got. Let that be your deciding factor.
Yeah. Oil sample doesn't lie, and you can actually science it out.
Yep.
But as to changing them as per maintenance, I think those days are gone with the older engines, the new bearings and the new tolerances of the newer engines. Granted that they last and they're maintained. The midlife bearing change or whatever, I think it's over. It's you run them till you rebuild them.
Yep.
The bearings are so much better. Granted, they're taken care of. They're not like the old soft.
Yeah, because
bearings and the mechanicals.
I was told that. Sorry.
Did you die?
Yeah, I was told that the life expectancy on this engine is like somewhere 700 to maximum 800. Mine is 825 right now. Should I just keep running, or should I change anything? Should I do any preventive maintenance?
That claim is only semi-valid, right? Because we see a lot of engines that go way farther than that. But the reason people say that, it's typically related to liner issues, not to bearing failure.
Yeah.
And that's not something you need to do. You're not going to do periodic maintenance to deal with that. If you're going to do anything to try and lessen your chances of liner drops, a good EGR cleaning, a good intake cleaning, or a good performance intake are going to do way more for that than changing your bearings, right?
All right. And one more question regarding the fuel additives. Do you guys recommend any fuel additives? Should we add it periodically or all the time?
Fuel additives go straight into your after treatment, into your emission stuff, because they don't burn like diesel should.
Yep.
I don't think additives have their place in modern engines. In fuel.
Not even Lucas like lubricant for the diesel to lubricate the fuel pump and the stuff.
So two things to think about there. Number one is the engine was designed to not use Lucas. That's number one. Number two is whatever case you make for using Lucas fuel additive, there's a million counter examples of people that aren't using it and not having a problem.
True. And Lucas doesn't burn off like diesel does. It leaves a soot, for example, it'll go straight to your DPF and plug it faster than it should be.
Cool. And the last question regarding the overhaul in the shop. You guys were telling that it's going to be out for like 15,000 for the whole overhaul on the engine. is it counting the head, and the head gonna be Riemann, or is gonna be aftermarket new, or is it gonna be like a rebuilt head?
So August a year ago, we ran a promotion for 15,000 for a re-ring kit and a remanufactured head. That was for the month of August of 1 year ago.
Okay, what's the price now?
I don't know that so we don't do that here on the show. So you'd have to call in to the office tomorrow.
Got it.
And the girls can run you down on all that.
Thank you very much.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Yeah.
So, quick question before we take the next caller, and we're going to get right to you guys. Do you think that those fuel additives have any place in pre-emission engines?
Yes, because pre-emission engines were built before low sulfur diesel.
Yeah.
And they need that extra lubricity.
Yeah.
And they can burn it off properly because they're not common rail systems with tight tolerances.
Right. So, and the sulfur in the fuel its purpose is just lubricity. You know, a lot of people don't even understand what it's for, but that was what it was
like
for.
2002, I believe it was legislated where we're from, for ultra low sulfur diesel.
Yep. So what do you think about cetane boosters?
Oh, cetane. I don't see the point of it either, unless you're trying to make power.
You guys have better fuel in Canada than we do. Too,
I think we have a tighter legislation on what fuel can be used and who produces it.
I know my brother goes through Canada a lot.
And we don't have we have summer fuel and winter fuel, as you would know, working up north.
Right.
Yeah. So it's usually above grade because it's trying to keep a good average over the year because of the old fuels mixed with the fuel from last season. Yeah.
My brother goes through Canada a lot, and he purposely will fuel up in Canada because he gets such better mileage off of Canadian fuel.
And yours is cheaper, so it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know lots of guys that fill up before they come up.
Right.
Price per gallon is less, but quality, it's pretty hard to measure.
All right, let's go back to the callers. All right, Dustin. Somebody's name finally came up. You're on the air.
Hey, this is Dustin. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. We're here. Let's go.
Hey, so I got an 07 MXS. A quick backstory on it is a crate engine, brand new, put into it about 5 years ago-ish. And then it blew ahead on the way back to the yard from the PNW. Since I've had it the last 2 years, it's on its fourth head. The first head blew a gasket, cracked it all the way down. The second head dropped a valve. The third head dropped a valve. During this time frame, I lost auto response and found out that the IVAs were deleted, that they rewired the throttle position sensor. And once they reprogrammed it at CAT, it started throwing codes for everything. They put a new engine harness in. It's got a new head, new oil cooler, new radiator, and new turbos. When I was driving through Pennsylvania, I was coming down a hill and I noticed my jakes were weak and I could hear like a hissing noise. Shortly after that, I started noticing slobbering coming from the rear joint of the manifold, and I'm burning through oil. Right now, I'm putting Lucas in it, and I just put 3 gallons in it after 7,000 miles. And so those two are the weak jakes, and that noise is correlating with the burning and using of oil on top of when I'm pulling the hill nice and steady, I'm not gaining RPM, I'm not losing RPM. You'll hear it after a while, I'll start hearing a hissing noise, and you'll actually see my boost gauge drop like 510 PSI.
Did Cat put a stock tune on it when you were in there this last time?
Yes. Yeah, that's a stock 475 1850 tune.
And the VVAs are all on, obviously, and working.
All the VVAs are on, but I don't know how long the VVAs were off. So I don't know if that's a corresponding issue because, maybe like something got stuck because they weren't working for years, hundreds of thousands of miles they weren't working or what. But right now I've got like 200,000 miles on it since it started running good. I found a new shop. I honestly think it was just the shop was messing up the original heads and dropping valves.
I thought you said that Cat redid it this last time.
No. That was Peterbilt redid the head last time.
Yeah.
It's a PDI head.
The VVAs being off and still being twin turboed does do a lot of damage because the pressure's too high. You get boost spikes, really hurt heads, and you've already been through heads. You know this. Did anybody?
Yep. After the first head is when I lost the throttle response, and then that's when we found out that the IVAs were deleted, and found a bunch of broken wires in the engine harness, replaced it, and then everything was all nice and happy.
Right, and has anybody done a top end adjustment in it lately since it's all been put back to stock?
Yes, I just had it at Cat about a month ago. They were fixing the rest of the oil leaks because this thing was going through like 2.5 gallons of oil a week. And it was just a plethora of oil leaks. And I brought it up to them about the slobbering coming out of the rear split in the manifold. And they're the ones that told me to put Lucas in it. And then I do idle it all night, but I idle it 1,100 RPMs every night. And then when I get going in the morning, I smell burning oil when I hit my jakes. Not when I'm like just accelerating, just when I hit my jakes.
I think all the damage was done before.
And then another thing to talk about is when I first start my truck in the morning, I always let it warm up. The first like mile or two, I have great jakes. I don't have a weird like sounding like a boost leak or anything like that. They work great the first mile or two. Then after that, they start acting up.
The oil's thinning out. And which engine is it specifically?
It's an MXS.
I think the damage was done before, like when all your head damages were occurring, your cracked heads and your failed head gaskets. All the damage was done to the bottom end.
I've got new.
Now it's just showing its face because the bottom end is weak.
Okay, even though I got good oil pressure.
Yeah, that's what's related to bearings. That doesn't mean anything with rings.
Yep.
Or pistons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I also noticed that I IR'd each manifold going down the block, and cylinder 6 was 30 degrees colder than the rest of the cylinders.
Because the rings are damaged and it's passing oil and it's lower compression.
Okay. That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, and you have really good oil pressure because all that Lucas. So.
Yeah.
Well, even without the Lucas, even before I was putting Lucas in, I was getting good oil pressure.
Yeah, no, I'm just being smart. Sorry.
The only thing I would really question here, is I'm going to assume it had a quite the tune on it before we put a 475 on it.
I don't know. It didn't feel much different between the two things.
And so why did we go all the way back to a 475? What was the?
I put $120,000 into this engine in 1 year.
Were you in Canada?
I'm trying to make sure everything stuck. No, this is between.
That's a lot. That's two brand new engines.
I got screwed over. Yeah, I got screwed over big time.
Sorry about that.
And just for shits and giggles, how certain are we that you have a 475 tune that's actually a 475 tune and everything's working as a stock 475?
The amount of times it's been in and out of Caterpillar and Peterbilt, they flash it. They flash it every time it goes in the
shop. I think damage was done.
And I am religious about my inspections. I'm religious about changing out air filters. I'm religious about my services on it. I'm trying to nurse this thing along until I can get my credit rebuilt and get out of this nightmare.
Drive it off a cliff.
I'm thinking about taking to Lake Michigan for a good drink.
Well, don't tell us about it. You just got to do it.
An in-frame kit would probably get you solved.
Yeah.
If the head's probably all right.
Again, your adventure of $120,000 into it is not over yet.
Yeah, that's why I don't think this truck's even worth anymore. Just trade it in and get something.
You know, if you can find
get away from it, it's just been a nightmare.
If you can find a shop that will do the labor portion of that reasonably, you could probably get away with a re-ring kit, you know, for $1,800, $2,200. You know,
okay.
It's going to give you new liners. You're gonna have to reuse your piston crowns, but they're probably fine. In all honesty, you know.
Yeah, because when it was torn apart last, the liners had good cross hatching on it. The top of the pistons were nice and clean. You know, there was no. The one cylinder one is all new because the first drop valve, it just completely dropped into the cylinder. The second drop valve set just tapped the top of the piston, didn't make any markings on it, and I was able to. Once I heard it and I knew it from the last time, I turned that sucker off and coasted the edge of the road. So.
Yeah, I probably still would have done that one if I had it open. I like to change the rod even. You know, if you drop a valve, it pretty much struck it.
Yeah.
But you, I mean, you know, if you can find a shop that will do the labor for you for, you know, a reasonable price, you know, go buy a re-ring kit. Re-ring kit's going to come with everything. It's going to come with everything to do the entire job. You might be able to get out of that job for $8,000-9,000. You know, maybe. You got to find a shop that's willing to work with.
What about that? Would I be able to do with that total seal? Would that be recommended with everything I've done in the past?
I can't
recommend.
I've been
looking at that sealing kit.
I can't recommend that for your on-highway engine, brother.
Okay.
We have to go. We got to go up to Alberta to be able to use that.
Okay.
Do what you want where we're from.
All right.
Yeah. You're in the unregulated.
Yeah, we're unregulated emissions. We're totally exempt from emissions where we are.
Fucker.
So it causes problems too, though. So
anyway, all right, brother. Well, good luck with that one. Let us know.
All right, thank you.
Let us know what you find.
All right. Is there anything I should have Cat test when I bring it to them? Like,
I don't know if I would take it to Cat.
I would take it to a mom and pop shop.
Me too. I would take it to a mom and pop shop.
Even just for the inspection portion of it?
You're going to pay a lot of money for what you kind of already know is going on.
Yeah. Cat will want to do everything by the book, and that's not the cost-effective manner of doing it.
Yeah. Next thing you know, they're going to call you and tell you to have it tore down.
Yeah. They'll need an outer frame.
All right.
All right, brother.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks.
Oh man. All right, guys. We got 25 minutes left, and there's quite a few people on hold. 24 is our last number, so we're not going to take any more callers. We're going to get to every one of you because you're already here and you hung on. So we're going to get to every one of you. But if you call after this, we're not going to take it because there's too many people on hold. You're a popular guy.
I don't think it's me. Nobody knew I was going to be here.
Well, they know now. Hassan, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Good. I have a 2019 Cummins X16 with roughly 830,000 miles. Recently, it started taking coolant. So basically, last trip I did was 2,000 miles with 2.5 to 3 gallons coolant in it. And the oil level is not going up, but I can see green sludge in oil cap, like sludge type of thing. And also, it was working fine, like pulling up fine, everything was working good, just had to add coolant in it. But last trip, it like a Jake gave up. So what it could be?
Are you having to add coolant to it?
Yeah. So 2.5 get to 1,000 could be something else.
Yeah.
There's no visible leak or anything like that.
Most likely on an ISX, that's the common problem.
I didn't with the liner.
Yeah, liner. Yeah. The head gasket's starting to fail.
Liner O-rings or head gasket?
The head gasket's, liner's dropping.
Yeah,
he's got no coolant in oil, so.
Oh, he doesn't have any
No
coolant
coolant in oil.
But I thought he said that he is seeing coolant accumulate on the cap and all that. And now you said?
It's on the
It's
engine
milky on the cap.
oil cap.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's still.
Yeah,
gas.
it's like a lot of
so?
blow by
It
when
gets
the
into
oil
the-
is around
it gets
like
into
10
the
to 12,000
crankies
miles.
pressure. Makes steam.
Yeah. Either way, if it was a liner O-ring,
Uh-huh.
or if it's coming from the head, it's because you're dropping a fucking liner. So
Yeah.
either assessment's probably correct enough for the problem you have to cure.
Yeah, if it's never been apart with that
It's
many
all
miles
running
on
at like,
ISX.
yeah, it's like 830,000 miles on it roughly.
For an untouched liner issue at an ISX, that's getting up there, in my opinion.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and the GX recently stopped working, so that could be the issue related to that thing, but that could be something else. The GX not working anymore.
Well, the Jakes.
They're not working at all. They're dead completely, or they're just really, really, really weak.
No, they're really weird when it works. There's like a really rough noise coming out, and then it feels like the engine is shaking, it kind of stuff. So
When the head's off, get the valve set.
Yeah,
Put it back
I'm
together.
gonna guess you're getting more coolant in this thing than you think you are. That's my guess, and it's starting to affect everything.
okay.
Yeah.
Sludgy.
Okay.
Let me give you a little word of parting advice. Coolant in your oil is nothing to fuck around with. It has no give, and it destroys everything because you're under extreme tolerances and tight tolerances, and it has no give. Think about it. You can use water under high pressure to cut steel, rock, you name it, and it will absolutely destroy your crank and everything else.
So basically, it fucked up everything.
I'm not saying you have fucked anything up. I'm saying don't continue to drive it. You need to take care of it immediately, or you're gonna pay.
No, it's already parked. It's already parked.
It's already
So I'm looking
fucked.
for options what to do. Yeah, so I have a 3406 sitting in my garage. I have that as a spare engine for this day. So now I'm kind of debating between should I rebuild this X15 or put a 3406E in there. I don't know what to do.
If you can afford the cash to do the swap, it costs a lot of money and downtime to do it.
Well, it's going to cost money on both sides.
Yeah.
If I rebuild that engine, that's not cheap either, right?
It's almost, in my experience, I should say, it's almost always substantially more affordable to just fix what you have than to repower it.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to agree.
So in frame,
1 week,
good.
back on.
But,
Yeah. The minimal amount of downtime and the most affordable options almost always to just rebuild what you have.
so what needs to be done is going to be after pulling it apart, like a basic end frame or like a new head and everything like that.
That no one can guess from here.
Okay. So basically pull it, take it apart and see what's the damage.
Yep.
Okay. So, all right, guys. Thank you. That was my question. Just want to know what should I do.
Good luck,
I have
brother.
2 engines sitting at home, so no idea what to do.
Yep. Bye.
All right, bye.
Okay. Well, we got a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
There's still 11 people on hold here. We might go a little late. That's okay. We will get to all you guys. Hang on. Right back after it here. James, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? James, hello. Did you die? All right.
See you, James.
Yeah. Whew, we dodged a bullet. Right on to the next
We're on
guy
schedule
here.
again
Sorry about that, James, but we're on a time crunch here. We have, I I'm not sure what your name is, but Brian with the Series 60 fuel dilution looks like. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, this is John. But anyway, I got some couple questions on. No worries. I didn't hear the prompt to give the name, but whatever. Got a truck that came in last Thursday with like 10 different inactive codes. All the codes were inactive. The primary two codes that we were looking into, coolant level below normal operating 28 times. So we put a new coolant level sensor on it. And the other code, which occurred 40 times, was also inactive. Code number 3911, after treatment 1, SCR intermediate NH3 ammonia sensor abnormal update rate. So we, as I just said, we put the coolant level sensor on, and then we saw some what appeared to be leaking DEF fluid from one of the donut seals on the SCR or decomposition reactor that goes into the SCR. So we put donut seals on it, cleared the codes, took it for a couple of test drives, was good. And then yesterday we took it for another test drive after fixing some other air pressure issues not related to the codes. And the coolant level below normal operating came back up one time inactive, and 3911 after treatment SCR intermediate NH3 sensor came up again. So I back probed the coolant level sensor, the new one that we put in, and the voltage in and out there was below 3 volts, which according to our troubleshooting instructions, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. So I'm really confused what's going on, because with those two codes appear to be, wired to the J1 and J2 on the ECM, not really appear to me crossing paths anywhere. I mean, I'm kind of leaning toward like some kind of electrical or harness issue, but not really sure where to go. We did run 2 SCR efficiency tests, and it failed both times for the SCR deposit burn failed. So I guess I'm not sure on the SCR efficiency test. Is it typical to run a forced regen before running the SCR efficiency test, or does it matter?
This one's all you, Red Seal. He lost me a while ago.
I've been following.
What do you got?
In regards to your SCR efficiency test, you always have to do a regen first. If that's the question.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, always got to do a regen
okay,
first.
Well, that was one of
to clear the system of any regen needed, and then you do your SCR efficiency test. And if your SCR efficiency test is either
step
DEF,
one,
that's the issue, or you have a bad SCR catalyst, or a low volume.
Okay, so well, that was what we were going to do tomorrow, was take the doser out and put it in, a canister and do the dosing test just to
measure
check that.
Quantity, measure your quantity first. Yes. And if it's underdosing quantity, then measure your quality.
Okay.
Which vintage engine? And
so the quantity
is this again?
It's a 2014 ISX 15.
Right. Okay.
So the quantity should be, looks like the dosing test runs about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So is that about 9 ounces? Because it said 1.3 or 1.4 gallons per hour. Is that about 9 ounces in that 3 minutes, 20 seconds? Does that sound about right?
You have to go by the troubleshooting on that. I don't remember all the specs per se for everything like that. Just go as per min and max.
Okay, so if we run the dosing test and it's good, then you would recommend doing the force regen, then the SCR efficiency test?
You have.
Yes.
or is there?
And if it fails, then you may have a bad SCR, or you still maybe have drifted sensor feed as well.
So, I mean, do you think that the coolant level sensor showing out of range on that, even though obviously it's
I
not
think that's
below
a separate
normal,
issue.
we can see.
That's a separate issue.
I was going to say that's unrelated.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a very
Okay,
big
so
pain in
that
the ass
issue-
with Cummins trying to chase multiple faults, because they you have to always resolve them. You can't just clear them.
Yep.
You got to do key cycles, and it's not user friendly to chase multiple faults in different areas on a Cummins. You have to really tackle one at a time.
Yep. And one of the commenters
Okay.
said quick serve is your friend, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
Quick serve
As
is
hard
your
as
friend.
it can be to use and follow quick serve, sometimes you have to do one at a time.
Yep. And what I'm really getting at there with the quick serve is quick serve really does take you down a path of resolution. It's really good.
Yeah.
So is quick
It
serve
is. It's not
something
user
that's part
friendly.
of the
Quick serve
insight,
is
or?
accurate, but they're not always clear. Yeah.
I think they're pretty good, but we use the shit out of quick serve
Yeah.
here, but
No.
we're pretty familiar with it too.
We're very familiar with
That's
it.
true.
There are easier platforms, is what I mean. I shouldn't be doting on the quick serve. So,
all right, brother.
So just for clarification, is quick serve a diagnostic tool, or is that part of Insight, or what is that?
it's built in with Insight,
Yep.
more or less. Yeah. It's an OEM
Okay, so
troubleshooting.
okay, so that should be within the Insight software.
You have to have a quick serve login. But the
Okay.
Insight software gives
I
you your
gotcha.
rough troubleshooting. Yes.
Okay. All right, and one more question related to that same truck. The odometer says 880,000 miles on it. The odometer also says, with an engine attached to it, 283,000, and the ECM reads 283,000. Does that mean that the truck actually has 880 plus, and then somebody swapped out the ECM and didn't recalibrate, and it's got 223 on the ECM? What does that sound like?
Highly possible they put an ECM on with 0 miles.
Yeah, it's most likely the scenario.
Okay, just swapped out the ECM and didn't recalibrate or something?
Correct.
Okay. All right, guys, I appreciate you taking the time.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, we have 8 more callers here. Real quick, if you're watching on TikTok, you don't hear the caller tonight because the headset I use to hear the caller is being used. So you have to go over to Facebook or YouTube. One gentleman was complaining he was on hold for a long time. Yeah, you were. We did take your call and we couldn't hear you, so we had to let you go. Sorry about that. One thing I want to answer real quick before we get back to the callers, the guy keeps asking about oil thermostats. Long story short, there's a couple different things you can do. You can get PDI's dual oil cooler. That's one way to bring the temps down on your ISXs, X15s and whatnot. And then of course, if you follow me at all, you know that we just debuted a oil thermostat that also does pretty much the same thing for a fraction of the cost. It's a very efficient device, pretty simple to do. I just wanted to answer that question. He asked it like 3 or 4 times, and it's a shameless plug for the product that we have out. So there you go. Anyway, we'll go ahead and take another caller here. We lost one, so cool. We got 8 left to go. Eric, I believe you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hello, how are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Good, thanks.
Good. Okay, so my question is I've got a Cat 5EK. It's a 95. It's got a 475 tune on it. I rebuilt the truck with an out of frame build on it about 7 years ago. I've got approximately 700,000 on it. About 2 summers ago, as I was coming into summer, I noticed that the engine fan wouldn't kick on when the truck was heating up, so the truck would go into overheat before the engine fan, and the engine fan wouldn't kick on. So I had to manually run the engine fan. Didn't think nothing of it. then shortly after that, I started getting a misfire in the engine when it was hot in the summertime. We did all kinds of things trying to figure it out last year, and as soon as winter came, the misfire went away. The truck ran like a champ, no problem all winter long during the snow and minus temperatures. Summer came this year, and it went right back into misfiring. So this year, I replaced the injectors. I replaced the coolant temp sensor. I replaced the intake manifold sensor. I replaced the fuel temp sensor. I replaced the oil temp sensor. I replaced every sensor on the truck. And we still have the misfire when it gets hot outside. But as soon as it goes cold, back to running like a champ.
I'd say ECM.
Oh, you think it's the ECM?
I know everybody hates blaming ECMs, but
nope, not ECM. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. I replaced the ECM as well.
Okay.
I would have contended it wasn't the ECM. Just saying.
Yeah. We've seen it with heat soaking issues.
Injector drivers are pretty rare to go out on your CADs. Not saying it's not possible, of course.
So when we pulled the injectors out, the original ones, we found 3 of the injectors without O-rings.
Without O-rings at all? No.
So 3.
No, not without O-rings.
Yeah, the bottom O-rings.
Yeah, that's
3.
That's
the 3 lower O-rings were gone.
No, that's because they deteriorate.
Oh yeah, the little tiny ones on the nozzles, those burn off.
They eventually, given enough time, you'll think that they were never on there, but they were on there when they put it together.
Yeah, when they put it together, they were on there, but they were burned off by the time we pulled them and put new injectors in it.
So this problem only happens when the fuel's hot?
No, it only happens when the outside temperature is hot. Only during summer months. As soon as we go back in the winter, when the temperatures, because I'm in Utah.
But you and I
go back down to
brother. You and I probably just said the same thing. When the fuel's hot.
Oh, sorry.
If it's only happening when like run your truck in the wintertime and the fuel actually doesn't get that hot because the tanks are able to radiate off so much of that heat. Run them in the summertime and the fuel burn your damn little hand off when you touch the return line, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're only having this problem,
I would think that
go ahead.
Except that it'll do it from start. It'll do it from start in the summer after the truck's sat overnight.
Okay.
So if it's already 80 degrees outside and I start the truck up and the truck's been parked for 10 hours and I start the truck up, it'll have the misfire. It'll have a sputter in it.
Have you checked your fuel pressure?
Until the temperatures. Fuel pressure is running at, I'm running about 70, 75 on the fuel pressure.
Okay. With the manual gauge on there.
It is a manual gauge on the dash is what I got. I haven't had someone put one. I haven't had an X. Yes, in-dash one. I haven't seen anybody put in.
Does it go down?
A gauge on the
when the operating temperature gets go down.
Maybe PS only when I'm accelerating, but otherwise it stays pretty consistent between 65 and 65, 75 to about 65, 70. But that just happened this summer. In fact, within the last month, I noticed that little drop.
So, have you changed the check valves, the return line check valve?
Have not done the return line check valve. No.
So your return line check valve and your supply check valve, they can get pretty wore out, and as the hotter the fuel is, the less good of a job that they do holding fuel back against the rail.
Okay.
And also that pressure regulating valve on the side of the pump, the spring gets weak and your pressure drops.
Yeah.
But there's a fix to that. You could pull it out and put a 1/4 inch stretch on it, put it back in, you'll gain 20 pounds.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I got the simple little pump on the front end, which is nice.
Yeah, on the side of that, there'll be a little pressure regulating valve, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, you could take the spring out of that, put it on a piece of paper, mark it down, put a 1/4 inch stretch on it, gain some pressure. If it solves your problem, then you got a weak pump or a weak valve.
if you're losing,
Okay.
Basically, it sounds like you're losing fuel pressure. That's why both of us are really hitting on the fuel pressure issues, right?
It shouldn't go down even under load.
No, right.
It should be consistent.
Okay.
and
Yeah,
rising
I
with
definitely.
RPM.
So I do. Yeah. When I accelerate, it'll. And my needle's not very steady. I don't know if I have a check valve in there on the gauge. So on the gauge of the dash, it fluctuates up and down quite a bit. But when it kind of steadies out some, and I accelerate, I'll notice I'll notice it decreasing by about 4 or 5 pounds of pressure, and then when I let off the throttle, I can see it come back up again a little bit. So
yeah, you got low.
The only avenue I haven't
gone
down.
Fuel pressure.
Yeah,
it should be consistent and rising with RPM every time, under load or not.
Yeah, it sounds like to me the only part of your story that doesn't scream check valve to me is that it does it on startup. But it does.
Yeah,
it does.
It will do it on startup.
Right. The problem sounds like check valves to me. If you hadn't already done all the sensors, I'd say maybe, you're dealing with a boost pressure sensor or a barometric pressure sensor. The diaphragms in those can go bad and it won't throw any codes, but it just isn't able to read. They get gummed up and this and that, and they think there's different pressures than there actually is, and they can give you a lot of problems. And your intake air temp sensor can also give you quite a bit of problems if it's just completely carbon coated and it's just not reading properly and it can't sense what the intake air temp is. But you've changed.
So when I pulled the air intake when I pulled that one out, it was completely caked in some kind of a gooey stuff. So I don't know. I've never seen anything like it before, but where the air is supposed to pass through, it had like this gummy stuff in there. So I pulled that out, and like I said, I dropped a new one in. We did the boost. I'm having a hard time finding a boost sensor that'll work. I've gone to CAT and gotten the stock one that's supposed to be on here. My engine, my ECM rejects it. It just starts kicking engine code, so I keep putting the old one back in.
Could be the wrong sensor then.
Yeah, I'm having the hardest time finding sensors on this engine. This is not a 30-year-old engine, and CAT's having a hard time cross-referencing the sensors for it. But every one they've sold me is the ECM's rejected, and I've had to put the old one back in. So that's the only one that I have not changed is the boost sensor.
Well, that boost sensor can make problems like you're talking about, but it shouldn't be related to the ambient air temperature like your barometric or your intake temp sensor would. Your boost pressure sensor, is operating entirely on pressure, and it is a diaphragm system, but it shouldn't be affected by the ambient temperature of the air. I still think
that's where we're baffled because it's the ambient.
I still think you need to change your check valves before you go any further. They're very inexpensive and they're very easy to change.
And fuel's a lot thinner in the warmer temperatures, so your pressure will be lower.
Yeah, even at 80
and your check valves will be weaker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're hotter definitely in the summer up here in Utah. Our mornings are still like 80 degrees in the mornings. So
not to be a smart
definitely we're starting the day out with
pretty
warm,
much the thing
fuel.
Pretty common theme everywhere. When it's summer, it's warmer.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, brother. Well,
that's true. I mean, so I'll do that check valves in and then the boost sensor, and then if I can't get any further with that, then I'm just going to call you and say let's just go swap the motor on it.
Well, maybe call us back next week and let us know what you found.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Those check valves act just like bad injectors. All right, guys. Holy cow. I'm getting tired. We have 7 more calls. We're going to just keep going here. Junior, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
How you doing? I got a question. I'm going to be quick with mine. I have a 12.767 and a 99 Peterbilt. And a friend of mine, he wrecked a truck with a 14-liter in it. It's a 2007 Columbia. I was thinking about buying his truck back from the insurance company just to swap the motor. What you guys think about that?
Depends on the buyback price. I've bought back every truck from the insurance company, it's always a better investment. But I've never had some crazy buyback price either.
Oh no, I'm gonna buy. I mean, I don't want the truck. I just want the motor. But I think mine need to be overhauled because I got a good bit of blow by, and I think it was pushing oil out cylinder number 5 and number 4 probably like a couple months ago. I guess it'd be switching. So
what kind of loads are you?
My odometer and my What'd you say, sir? I'm pulling gravel loads, so I'm pulling heavy loads.
Oh, you're heavy, okay.
Yeah, very heavy. I pull like 88,000 on a regular.
Just saying, because if you're light loaded, the 12.7's a better engine.
Well, I mean,
for fuel economy, if you're light,
are we calling
rebuild the 12.7?
Are we calling 88,000 a heavy load?
I don't know what you guys call heavy down here.
Sometimes I'll be 90, like 92 sometimes. At least that's what we pull down here. I mean,
sorry,
I know up there y'all probably pull heavier.
I'm just giving you a hard time there. So let me put it into perspective. I rolled a W9 Kenworth on the Alaska Haul Road, and I rolled it off the side of a mountain, and I completely trashed it.
Well, 7 to a 14 liter. Cause I'm definitely gonna take the motor out the truck, and I'm gonna scrap the truck. It's a Columbia. I'm taking the motor out my Peterbilt, which is a 12.7, and put the 14 liter in there. So it's a lot of things I have to worry about.
Yeah.
Is that a good swap thing or?
It's a good swap. It's a popular one. But if to take that 14 liter from an 07, it's going to be EGR and a different ECM. You'd have to convert it backwards.
Right.
To no EGR and old ECM to work well with.
Yeah, he had the ECM for it.
You're going to want to get. Yeah, but you're going to want to get rid of.
You're in the wrong country to give that kind of.
You're going to want to get rid of all that stuff if you're going to an old truck, because you only got to follow the rules of the old truck, right?
It's actually.
Is that how it goes?
Nope.
You can't put a new engine in an old truck for all the old emissions.
Nope.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so this is a huge misconception, and the EPA lets this misconception permeate.
Yeah.
And here's where guys make a mistake. And of course, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you guys any advice here, but it's not the trucks that are regulated. The trucks are not EPA regulated. It's the engines. And there's a certain amount of known engines on the planet, and the EPA tracks all of them. So if I was to take a 2020 truck and take the EPA compliant engine out, and I take another EPA compliant engine in, like a CAT, I have not technically changed any of the EPA approved engines in the market in the world at that time. The engine they have no way to regulate the truck itself. It's only the engine that it has to be EPA compliant. And if I haven't taken away from or added to any of the EPA's known amount of engines in service, I am still staying EPA compliant. Now, if I take an engine and I take EPA compliant things off of it, now I have violated the EPA's rules. That's actually how that works. And that's what guys were building gliders forever. And the EPA just kind of came in and shut them down. If they would have stood up for themselves, they could have told the EPA to go jump in a lake, because it's not the truck that's regulated, it's the engine. And there's a known amount of them that exist that they're regulating.
Interesting. Yeah, because this 12.7's pre-emissions is what I'm saying.
No, I understand. Yeah. So if you go back to that 14 liter, you're going to have to go forward to that 14 liter. You're going to have to really, technically get a hold of custom truck and get a external control module and so on and so forth. And you're going to have to make that thing work. You can do it, but it needs to be in its original configuration, at least from our point of view of if we're going to give you advice, right? I'm not telling you what you should actually do or how you should go about it. Or
I'm not worrying about EPA.
All right, but I have to, because I'm on the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I know that's about
Okay, so I'm not saying that I disagree with Dan's assessment of the route you should go. I'm just telling you that I'm not going to tell you to go that route. I probably shouldn't have said that. I mean, no, you're fine.
Let me make sure this. Would I have to change? I'll probably only have to change the engine harness, right?
Oh, everything's
That's
different
part
about
of the
those two
ECM.
engines. Everything's about it. Everything about those two engines are different except for the Detroit.
Custom truck, brother. Give them a call.
Yeah.
They'll tell you exactly what you need and what it's going to cost you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all very much.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
You too. Y'all be safe.
Bye. Okay, guys, we do want to go home tonight. So the people that are calling in, we have 6 more to go. And the people are still calling in. We're not going to take your calls because we do have a life. We do appreciate everyone that calls. But we want to get through who's here. We're already 7 minutes past the second hour. We're going to stick around for these callers, right?
Yeah, we said we would.
But no more new callers. So, Alex, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, guys, I got a question. I ain't gonna keep you long because I know y'all been on here all night. Got a 14 liter Detroit. It's out of an 0607 Freightliner, and recently I was driving it and had everything was working just perfect. Turbo vanes have started sticking on it, kind of typical. It's got 400 something thousand on it, original motor, and never been cracked into. So I thought I was going to go ahead and just swap over to a S475. I done all of the necessities that needed to be done to that, but now I noticed that I've got a low oil pressure issue. I was just wondering, do the VGTs or the VGT Detroits, or do you know of anything that has like a restrictor in the oil line, or is there anything that a person would have to look at before I start pulling the pan on it and checking for rods and mains or other issues?
This is unrelated to turbo that you changed. This is just oil pressure.
It was
yeah, it's got nothing to do with
it didn't have
swapping to a 475. S475.
Yeah, I didn't think it would, and it had, like I said, it had no oil pressure issues before. It was holding dead set right on 50 pounds. I do know this though, the gauge will read on the truck will read 40 or 50, but if I drive it and once it gets warmed up, the gauge is still reading 40, 50 pounds, but it'll throw a stop engine light and it'll have a set code for low oil pressure. So I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards maybe it might have a bad sensor. I'm going to check it tomorrow since I'm not driving, and put an actual manual gauge on it just to see what the actual oil pressure is. But I was just kind of wondering what your all's thoughts on that was.
Yeah, I'd start verify that. Verify it is low oil pressure first. Those sensors do go bad and code out.
Yeah. Okay. I know it's got 2 on it. I guess a small one would be for the ECM, and probably the larger one that it's got on it would probably be for the dash, right? Or would
one
the
be
dash
temperature? One's temperature, one's pressure. They're side by side on the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay. Well, that's pretty much that's what I was kind of hoping not to, but like I said, that's what I was kind of running into, and that was the only thing I've changed on it. And like I said, the oil pressure kind of started to drop out, and not really drop out on the gauge, but it just started throwing codes, and so I've kind of run into trying to keep from chasing my tail around. So
understood.
But I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all.
You too.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
I'm terrible. As soon as I think you got it, I just phase out everything.
It's okay.
I don't even know what he was talking about.
You're doing lots. It's all right.
It's nice to have another person.
I'm surprised at how much older engines you guys are running down here and calling in about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have somebody else on the show. I could kind of phase out and phase in and out. Philip, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? We're down to 4 callers here. Hello.
Yes, earlier you mentioned, yes, you hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
Yes, earlier you mentioned a mechanic that was doing, I believe, working on a Caterpillar engine in Georgia.
Yep. Good friend of mine.
I need someone to, I'm the same caller from probably a couple weeks ago. I was the one who had the first time with the Caterpillar engine. I was very concerned about the blow-by. You told me just up the mileage that I'm doing my oil changes at the intervals, and I've been doing that. The blow by has went down a whole lot since doing that. Just as of recent, I'll be driving, and let's say I'm going up a grade, or sometimes not even a grade, it could just be on a flat, and I'll have my cruise control and it'll disengage, and it'll say check engine light. Or sometimes I'll be driving and I'll just lose power, as in like not turbo failing or engine like failing, but more so like I hit the pedal and there's no response at all. And it'll say check engine light, check engine light, check engine light, and then if I put it in neutral, then immediately I have RPM in neutral. The responses, it is very responsive during that time, but usually I have to throw it in neutral, hit the gas, and try to put it back in gear, then it'll clear up and I can drive again. I need someone that I can just ask somebody in Georgia. I'm in Georgia to go locate it that you trust because you mentioned it.
Yeah.
So that's my current issue.
Two things. One is the advice I was giving you is to buy you time until you can get your blow-by issue fixed. It's not certainly not some advice to continue to run it like that, right? Just clarify that really quick.
100%.
I don't want the
100%.
I don't want the 6 weeks from now phone calls. I slung a rod through the side, you son of a bitch. I'm trying to help you avoid slinging a rod, but as far as that goes, if you go look, if you go look through my TikTok or my Facebook, actually, you'll see a bunch of clips of the podcast I did with James Daniels from Trademark Truck Lines. He's there in Georgia. You can look up Trademark Truck Lines in Savannah area, find him and talk to him that way. But he owns like 40 of his own trucks. He does have a full mechanic shop, but they don't really do a lot of outside stuff. But you're more than welcome to look him up and find him. I'm certainly not going to give his phone number out over live here. Don't want people blowing him up, right? But you can find him. He's Trademark Truck Lines. You can see if he'll take a look at it. He is one of the best mechanics that I know. So that would be about as much information as I'd give you. Fair enough?
Fair enough. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, sir. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye. All right, guys. 4 to go here. Thanks for hanging on. We appreciate you. No name here, but you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Amazing, man. What can we do for you?
Hey, I got a little issue. I got a Cummins. I got a TA80, 2017, with the Cummins ISX15. I'm having a little issue with it, and I just don't know how to address it really. I'm starting to get a little bit of oil in the coolant, but I'm not missing any oil.
How certain are we?
At first, I was.
Hang on. How certain are we we're not actually seeing diesel fuel? It is a much more likely thing to find in your coolant.
How can you tell if it's diesel fuel? I mean, the first time it was black. I mean, could diesel turn black in the coolant?
Yeah, it will. It is a petroleum product. It will look like oil. One of the easiest ways to tell, honestly, this isn't really a red seal method. It's more of a redneck method. You just you stick a rag in there and get as much of that on there as you can and put a lighter to it. And if it starts to burn, it's diesel fuel.
Okay, I've done that a couple of times, and I just, obviously I didn't think of it. It kind of smells like oil to me, but you may know something. I don't know, obviously.
Does it burn?
Does what burn? No, I didn't stuck a lighter to it. I have not done that.
Well, that's the first thing. You got to figure out if it's fuel or if it's oil. I mean, how much you putting in there? Just a little tiny bit, or are you getting a lot? What do we got?
Well, I took it to Mom and Pop's mechanic. To my opinion, he's a good mechanic. He replaced the oil cooler. Okay. Then the issue stopped. And then it came back.
So when he replaced the oil cooler, I'm going to guess that he got rid of all your coolant and added new coolant.
At a new coolant, he even changed the reservoir. He put a brand new reservoir in it.
So
Flush the system.
right. So the problem just took a while to be noticeable again. It never stopped. You know, he cleaned the whole
Okay,
system,
so now
so
let
it
me
took a
ask
while
you.
to accumulate again.
Okay, yeah, and it's coming back. Like I said, now I'm noticing I've also got a problem. It's a 10-speed automatic transmission. Could the cooler on the transmission, could that do it? Could that be bypassing? Because I'm missing a little transmission fluid. I checked it this afternoon. I even cleaned the reservoir again. I flushed it myself. Got all the what it appears to be old to me. I got all that out and start over. So I ran it probably 10 miles on the road, put some fuel in it, came back home, and you can tell there's a small tint of oil again, or what appears to be oil. So it's a small leak coming from somewhere.
In my experience, we'll see what Dan has to say here in a minute, but in my experience, if you have a failed oil cooler, it fills your entire transmission up with coolant. You don't put oil into your coolant. As far as I know, that's not even a thing.
100%. Coolant pressure is higher than transmission oil pressure, so it goes that way. Yeah.
So
It's not your
so what you guys are saying, the coolant would go into. Okay.
Your transmission would be full of coolant and not the other way around. You know,
Right.
And so you did replace your oil cooler, okay?
Right.
And the problem appeared to go away, but I'm gonna guess the problem never went away. This problem never went away. He just cleaned the whole system, put a new reservoir tank on. It just took a while of accumulation for you to notice it again. The problem never went away.
Or was the gas system completely cleaned and you're just getting residual? We don't know that. Was it like they used detergent and flush the system multiple times and then rinse it and then put new coolant in? Or did he just change the reservoir, put new coolant in, sent you on your way? Because
No.
your heater core, everything just holds oil like you wouldn't believe if you don't use detergent and wash it out.
And see, that's what a friend of mine told me. He said, look, I think I know and I believe your mechanic flush the system, but he said, I have the same problem. And what I've done, he said, before wintertime, I ran water through it, flush it. I think Cascade detergent or something like that. A few times. He said, I ran it. And he said, you won't believe how many days I ran it like that. It was a few days. And I finally got rid of that oil residue. And then it's when I started back and actually put, coolant back in there. And I never had any issues again. That's what you got going on. So the rest
Detergent have to.
Yep.
Yeah, Raid or water will never get it out.
Okay.
So what do you use, Dan?
Well, there's a couple of companies out there that do make radiator flush. Iron Tight, I think, is one of them. But in a pinch or old school, just like Cascade dishwasher detergent. Don't use Dawn or anything that makes bubbles. Do not got to use dishwasher soap.
I'll throw a suggestion at you. What we use here in our shop, we use a product made by Fleet Guard, whoever makes the filters.
Fleet Guard,
Fleet Guard.
Fleet Guard.
Yep.
No, we use their Restore. Their Restore, I've been using it forever. In fact, we used it today, ironically. That's exclusively what we use, and it is the shit. I couldn't imagine recommending anything. I would never use anything else. Restored, it just works. You put a bottle in there, you fill it full of water, drive it around for a couple hours, dump the water out, put coolant back in it. Problem's gone. And it's
Fleet Guard makes a product called
Restore.
I'm sorry,
Restore.
Okay, and put a bottle in there, run it a couple hours, and
Get it hot.
pretty much cleans it out.
Right.
It's
right. Important to get it hot, and we only do it one time. We use the Restore and done.
Quick question. I know you guys got to go. I'm in bed myself trying to go to work in the morning. But so do you guys think there'd be a liner Could it be possible that it be a liner? But my thing is, it's not missing any oil.
Yeah, that would be coolant in the oil. You have oil in your coolant.
You'd have way bigger issues if it was liner.
Yeah, and that's why if it wasn't, if it was either the oil cooler or it's actually diesel fuel. In my opinion, obviously there's exceptions to everything, but pocket answers are if you replace the oil cooler and you're still getting it, you're probably actually dealing with a diesel fuel issue. But let's clean the damn thing first and get some restore. Let's clean it out and make sure that you're not just seeing a residual problem.
Okay, and if it's diesel, is that am I dealing with a bigger problem as well, or
you're dealing with an injector cup problem, which most likely means you have to change the head because injector cups almost never cure a problem that's been heat stroked and what created the problem in the first place. I'm not telling you not to try injector cups, but the failure rate on changing injector cups is high enough that I typically don't even bother.
Right. Well, the truck doesn't skip a bit. It runs fine. I mean, I don't know what the symptoms are with it, but I'll try to clean the system and go from there. I guess that's the only thing I can do from now.
Yeah, the comment section agrees. Use restore.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, bro.
Yeah, and I got one of those sensors that goes on that coolant reservoir. They're aggravating. They need to get rid of with those things. It doesn't float. It's like a little floater.
Yeah.
Those things are a pain in the butt.
Yep, you just got to replace it. All right, brother.
Yep.
Good luck.
You guys have a good night. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
All right, bye.
3 more. Here we go. Straight to them. No name. You're on the air, brother. What can we do? No, you're not on the air. Son of a bitch. Now you're on the air. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Can you hear me there?
Yeah. Go.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, the phone just beeped there, and then you were saying another caller. Yeah. Thanks for taking my call there. I actually called and spoke with you a couple weeks ago there. I've got a 2020 Peterbilt with X15 with DEF consumption issues and having a little bit of smoke that was coming out of the exhaust, and it's kind of coating the back of the truck. Just wanted you, we were talking and you were mentioning that the problem seemed to be pre-DEF, meaning from the engine itself, whether the EGR itself was plugged up or even the intake for that matter. And I just wanted to let you know that I've had it at 2 different shops to have it checked out, and both shops are giving me 0 options where to go or where to look. They're telling me that the truck, that there's no problems, but the DEF consumption is completely up and down, as well as the fuel mileage. And just, I don't want to take up too much of your time because you guys have been there, you've been there for quite a while, and I appreciate it. But I did 2 trips, 2 exact trips, same amount of weight going down to the East Coast, down to Jersey, reloading, going back home, delivering to the same place. So I traveled the exact same roads, the exact same speed. Wind on both trips seemed to be pretty equal where there wasn't a lot of wind. The first trip I did, it was 1,800 kilometers, which is 1,125 miles. I put in 193 gallons of diesel. The truck ran about 5.8 miles to the gallon for that trip, which the truck is usually around 6.5 miles a gallon. And I put in 42 liters of DEF, which is 11 gallons of DEF. And so the percentage rate was about 5.7% rate from DEF to diesel. The second trip that I did, I just finished the trip up the other day, same amount of kilometers, 1,125 miles. This time I only put in 665 liters of diesel, so 175 gallons. The truck ran its normal 6.5 miles to the gallon, but it even used more DEF than the previous. It was at 46 liters of DEF, which was 12 gallons. So the DEF rate was about 6.8, 6.9%. So I had the truck at the dealer the other day again, and they've inspected the EGR, they've inspected the intake, they've done the DEF pressure test, they've done dozer efficiency test, they've done numerous regens on the truck. The DPF filter was just cleaned 2 months ago. The SCR filter is new. Just wondering if you guys have any other direction to go. I've been to my regular mechanic. I've gone to 2 actual now Cummins dealers. And first of all, they said to me, well, the truck's got 1 million kilometers on it. Your diesel rate to def is going to be high. And I'm like, well, no.
Let's give Dan a chance to try and answer your question here.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all good. Facts are information's good. On these back-to-back trips that you're measuring, what were the temperatures like? Was it hotter at the second trip, or you used more def?
No, average. No, the actual ambient air temperature outside was running. It was running pretty much the same temperatures for both trips. The weather down here on the East Coast has been like this week is a really good temperature. I run a scanner plugged into the data link port where I can measure and monitor the DPF pressures or temperatures for that matter, like DPF in, DPF out, SCR out. And I watch the pyro, and nothing, everything as I'm driving on flat land, it's around 460, 500 degrees. When I get into a pull and start to pull a long grade, they get up to 760, 800 degrees, and then all of them all mirror basically all the same temperatures within, 20, 30 degrees. So I'm just really at a loss as to even where to try and have somebody look, because they keep saying that there's no mill laid on, there's no fault codes, and it's passing all the efficiency tests. And again, the DPF was just cleaned. The SCR is new, or newer. It's about a year and a half old now. And the motor had an in-frame done.
If you're burning more fuel, you're going to be burning more def.
Correct. So, yes, 100%. Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah. As far as the consumption changes back and forth, I can't explain that. One trip to the next.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that's it. And they were saying because the truck had so many miles on it, but I'm like, no, it had an in-frame 300,000 kilometers ago. So it kind of throws that out of the equation for them too as well. So I'm just not too sure where to look.
Move to Alberta and delete it.
We have a lot of information. We can turn the DEF off if you want to. So.
My God, tell me about it. I would absolutely love to do the delete, but then the question is, you do the delete and then do you have to change internal components to complete the delete?
No, I didn't say that, but no.
Okay,
no,
I didn't.
We've been doing some stuff with that too, where we've been turning just DEF systems off and still keeping everything in compliance, and nobody knows the difference. They don't smoke, they don't do anything,
and nobody.
Yeah,
they
don't. We've been doing some of that stuff for the guys that travel the distance. So. Yeah, or turn it down and turn all the codes off for it. But it still is all there. It still looks, sounds, appears, everything. 100%.
Like it looks like it's
still
OEM. Yeah,
smoke test.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Still passes the smoke test. Okay, well and that's out in Alberta State, eh?
Yeah, it's legal up there. So.
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay, guys. Well, no, I just appreciate. Just wanted to touch base back again there to see if there was anything else that you thought I should take a peek at and check. But it's just confusing to me, even on how the actual fuel mileage can change that much, that drastic of a change, with no difference in what the load or the truck or what the truck was doing. So I wasn't too sure if it could be an injector that could be causing a problem or something of that matter. But
cruise control.
But again, no faults, no codes. So
yeah, turn the radio away.
That's you got it. That's it.
Pay the bills. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you go, guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and I'll keep in touch there. Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, 2 more to go here. Thanks for hanging on, guys. I'm not sure Dan's quite hanging on. He looks like he needs a nap, but here we go. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, so I got a 2012 ISX 15. It's got 550 from factory, and it had 150K on an in-frame from Kenworth. Had 100,000 when I bought it. I ended up deleting it about 4 months ago, and I noticed the jakes were only activating on high, regardless of the position of the switch, and there were a few other things with that delete. Basically, I think they put kind of a dirty tune on it. I mean, they said they were going to Canada for the tune, and I wasn't really able to get any information, about the tuning. They just said that it would be like stock or whatever. It got probably about 2 miles a gallon worse I was getting about 5.4, 5 to 5.4, and then I went down to probably about, well, maybe about 4, 4 to 4.5.
We've been seeing this a lot. There's a lot of bad tunes out there, and a lot of these guys that are tuning the ISXs, especially, they get rid of the multi-pulse injection because they run on 6 injection pulses, like pre-burn, post-burn, all those things, and they put one big fuel dump in it, like a classic older engine, more or less, and that destroys your fuel economy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard on components, makes lots of heat. It's a horrible thing. Not pointing fingers, but it sounds like you got a bad tune. Bad delete tune in that.
Well, that's and that was kind of the start of.
And nobody wants to pay for another one because it's not immediate. But down the road, the tune is a lot cheaper than any repairs you're going to be experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of already on board with that. I mean, I was quoted about 2,600, and I've accepted that now. But
yeah,
I'm dealing with a much bigger issue now, and I'm not sure if it was the tune that caused it, but the truck was running perfectly fine. I've had it since December and last December, and I mean, it ran fine, felt fine. It's been in my trusted mechanic's shop. He said it was a great purchase and everything. It was actually I bought it in Canada. It lived most of life in Alberta, running oil field, and of course, so that all the gauges are in kilometers and kilopascals and all that. I can't really process those numbers.
Yeah.
So for me, like I'm looking at the oil pressure, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've done the conversion. I know it's about 7.5 pounds per tick on the gauge. So anyway, I had my air compressor ended up failing on me. I guess the head gasket blew or something on the air compressor, and it ended up blowing probably 10 gallons worth of coolant into my wet tank, and I didn't know that, and I just kept adding coolant because I actually just had my radiator replaced too because I had a leak. So I assumed I was just filling up gaps, and then I tell my mechanic I've put 10 gallons, over the course of 2, 3 weeks in this thing. He's like, well, it's going somewhere. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So we were checking it out, and they found out that there was all this coolant in the compressor tank. We swapped the compressor, and so it turns out that I ran like that for about 3 weeks, and some coolant made it into the oil, which was confirmed by an oil sample I had probably shortly after. And so the sample was saying it had like 0.43% water. There were some wear metals, 130 parts per million lead, 71 parts per million copper, and then all the stuff associated with the.
So after your compressor, you're feeling this tune rid? Trying to roll this.
It's sort of like a few things that are going on, I guess. I don't think that was caused. I don't think the tune caused the compressor. I think that was going to happen anyway. But basically, my concern is that I ran for probably, I probably put maybe about 2,000, 3,000, maybe 4,000 miles on it with bad oil because it had coolant in it from the compressor dumping the coolant. So anyway, I ran like that. I ended up getting an oil change. I decided to switch to the Mobile Delvac Extreme from T4. And as soon as I did that, within 200 miles, I lost oil pressure for the most. I mean, it was like giving me low oil pressure. It was getting down to about 8 pounds at a hot idle. And I still had pressure cold. And then.
So I feel that the coolant damaged your bearings. And that's
it definitely did. Yeah. So they took the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So we
dive into that.
We were chasing this issue.
Okay.
Well, we dropped the pan. The bearings were scored, and there was about like a shaved up quarter, like like $1 quarter.
What do we
Yeah.
what do we need from us? What can we help you with?
Well, they rebuilt the bottom end, and we're kind of just hoping that they put another oil pump in it. It had a Chinese oil pump. They put a good oil pump in it, and I mean, at first we were looking at just, well, it's probably damaged, and I don't want to put a rod through the core, you know, and lose $4,000. So we were just going to do a rebuild. But now we're looking at possibly just seeing if it'll, you know, because there's obviously no sense in spending 40 plus or whatever. Just not really sure. So the plan is tomorrow we're going to have it back together. I'm planning on running it down to a shop that can put the tune on it, the good tune, and run it essentially.
Okay.
So I mean, is that like I don't know. I'm just not really sure if I should just forget about doing that and
There's
just
too
go
many
straight to
unknowns
rebuilding.
here. I don't know what you're asking. If you're asking me if we should rebuild it, if you should rebuild it, or if you should sell it or retune it, I don't know where you want to go with this. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you're.
No, I get you. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah. Nobody can really answer your question. You're basically asking us to look into the future and tell you what the best path to take is. No one can do that.
No, personally, I would rebuild the whole thing, retune it, and go back to work. But without spending money, you're not going to know.
That you said you would rebuild it at this point.
Well, if it's had that much coolant in the oil, who knows all that's going on?
Yeah.
Start fresh, do it right if you can afford to do so. Then work forward.
Right. Okay. All righty then. Well, I appreciate the help.
Awesome. Thanks for calling.
Have a good night, brother, and good luck.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Appreciate it.
The comment section tonight's just fucking killing me. It's the only reason I'm hanging in here. We got one more caller.
I'm new here. I have to put up with it.
Scotty, looks like, thanks for hanging on. You've been on for almost 50 minutes. You're on the air, brother. You're a champion. What can we do for you?
Thank you for taking my call. Been watching your content on TikTok, and want to say congratulations to you and your boys. Seem like y'all really done good for yourself.
Thank you.
And I wanted to reach out to somebody that had some experience with engine building, and I feel like you're the guy.
Well, thank God
I've been building engines for about. Well, I've been building engines for, I don't know, 18 years. Probably built well over 200. So I've always used to, back in the day, we've done a lot of genuine kits. Now I've been kind of doing PAI because I've got a dealership friend that's a distributor. So there's times, man, to where I can't get a PAI kit. You know, guys need their trucks back pretty quick. I tried an IPD kit and a CAT C12. Used 2 gallons of oil a week, and turned out had some defective oil rings, and they sent me another kit free of charge, which was good on their part. But it kind of just pushed me back to just sticking with PAI or genuine. Well, I've seen everybody pushing AFA products online, and I have not used an AFA kit, but I did have a Detroit at 12.7 come in and tapping a little bit, and I, diagnosed it. Guy said he just had it overhauled, and I diagnosed it, and I saw the bull gear was flopping. So I was like, that's the noise right there. Put a bull gear in it, where it still had the same tapping noise. So I pulled the pan and was going to look for like an upper rod bushing. And I've seen some of those in the earlier non-drilled rods on those 12.7s. So I went to look at that, and I saw a broke skirt on number 1. So I got the okay to overhaul it, and I pulled it out, man, and all 6 skirts were cracked, and they were just overhauled with AFA parts. So that immediately turned me off to AFA. And this is about 3 years ago. So I've been kind of nervous about using anything else other than what has worked for me. But what do you think that's just a...
I mean, I got the gist of what you're asking me here. So just let me answer it. All right. If you don't mind, because we want to go home.
No, go ahead.
You're basically asking me what my opinion is of AFA and just aftermarket in general. Yeah, I think, right. Dan was here, and he's actually here getting signed up. Part of what he's doing here, anyway, is getting signed up as a distributor for AFA. He's here visiting my shop. Obviously, he's here with me. And we were talking kits all day. I have IPD sitting in my shop, and him and I both kind of agree it's not really our go-to. We kind of agree with you there. They make some very niche stuff that, like for the B models and stuff. So I use them for that. I prolifically use PAI and Interstate McBee, and I'm sure you are aware that I have my own kits coming out here probably in the next week or so. I think I could probably give one of the most honest answers when it comes to that kind of stuff, because let's think about it. I have my own kit coming out, and I should probably be the guy that wants to throw everybody under the bus and say I've got the best product on the market, right? But here's the truth. If you were to ask me, would you use AFA? The answer is going to be yes. If a guy asked me, hey, will you put an AFA kit in my truck? Would I still warranty it? Would I still treat it like if I put a PAI kit in there? Would I still treat it like if I put an Interstate McBee kit in there? 100%. I had the privilege of testing everybody's product. And if you found a kit that was done with AFA and all the skirts were broke, I am going to unequivocally believe that there was an installation error of some kind. You didn't 6 skirts because you use an AFA kit. There's no fucking way in hell.
No, you don't have 6 bad pistons.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they were cracked from the round hole where your snap ring goes straight down to the bottom. All 6 were cracked just alike, and I just thought that was very peculiar. Maybe it was some bad material at the time it was manufactured. Or,
if you had one broke,
not sure.
maybe you could sell me on it was a parts failure, right? But all 6 of them broke. Somebody did something stupid.
Sounds like ether.
Something. Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody.
You're right. I didn't think about ether, but I've seen some guys do some damage with ether. But I don't know, all the engines I've built, I've never had a failure with PAI other than a head gasket deal one time where it's kind of rolled in the center, like 10 thousandths, a little thinner in the center.
Right,
but anyway.
But let me put this out there, okay? Couple things. One thing is I did 250 engines last year. We're on track. We're at 240 right now. We still got a lot of year left. We're going to hit way over 300, so we're going to call it 500, 600 engines in 2 years or whatever. And I kind of use everybody except for OEM. The only time you're going to get me to get up in arms with you a little bit is if you're trying to make me use OEM. I'd just rather not use remanufactured shit that
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't like using either.
And so like I tested pretty extensively, tested everybody's products, even PAI or PDI, PAI, IPD, Interstate McBee, AFA. I tested all of their stuff extensively to build my own product line. And what I can tell you consistently is that 100% of those kits outperform the OEM, 100% of them. So we have to hold up OEM as our litmus of here's the standard. Are we at least getting to the standard, right? So in the testing that I did from Stylist, from your, what's the test called where you smash the liners, from your hardness testing, from all of those different things, in the machine that pulls them apart, all the testing that we did, 100% of the kits outperformed the OEM. So I can't sit here, even though I'm dropping a product line here in a week, I can't sit here and look you in the face and honestly tell you that any of those kits are ones that I wouldn't put in an engine and still warranty, because they are. And if it's an AFA kit, so be it. They make good shit. I mean, when I was testing liners, they had one of the best ones. Were they the top on everything? No, but neither was PAI or neither was Interstate. Nobody was the top, right? In every category. But all of them outperform the OEM. So there you have it, right? And we know, if our OEM can make it to 1 million miles, then I can look you in the face and say AFA will make it to 1 million miles. Interstate McBee will make it to 1 million miles. I mean, I have builds out there right now that have made it to those ranges that have been done with pretty much every kit on the planet except for OEM.
Yeah. Yeah, I just figured it was probably some coincidence or something with the AFA, and it's possible the guy could have sprayed a lot of ether in it, and put a little pressure on the pistons, I guess. But
I guarantee,
I
guarantee that the piston skirt failure is, and here's the thing, man. If it was a parts failure, it wouldn't be isolated to the engine that you were fucking with. Right? There'd be all kinds of people having this problem. Of course. There's no way you.
I haven't heard a whole lot about it at AFA, other than they've been really being pushed on social media a lot.
Yeah,
and the kits that you're coming out with, you're getting a coating on them. Is that right? Is that what I'm seeing on TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, but our kits. Our kits has a lot of our kit's pretty special. But for a budget line kit that is going to perform with the best of them, AFA is a good kit. It just is, and AFA, as far as social media world goes, they're probably my biggest competitor, as far as market share, not, no, but as far as influence, what's going on the internet. Yeah, I mean, I have a vested interest to sit here and bash the shit out of them, but I'm not going to do it because I'd be fucking lying to you if I was going to do that, right? So, you're never going to get me on here and say, oh, AFA is fucking junk, blah blah blah, of all those manufacturers that I don't care for, PDI is probably the one I don't care for the most. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you they have a shitty product, right? Because that wasn't the case when I was testing their stuff. I just, I would encourage you to look at how you're going to get treated after the fact, right? So, if you have this litmus of, okay, all these kits are going to outperform the OEM, I'm going to start looking at the other factors. Do these people stand behind their product? What's the service going to be like? You know what I mean? And so that's more what I zero in on is how am I going to get treated? Am I going to get told to go fuck myself if I do have a problem? If you build as many as I do, that starts to become the bigger concern for you. I mean, I personally don't think that parts failures are something that you're going to see a lot of no matter what. Most failures are installation or operator problems, right? I'd say the mass majority, 98% of these problems that happen to engines are operator or installer related problems. So I care a lot more about how am I going to get treated on the back end, on the front end as well. What kind of service am I getting provided? What, and so on and so forth. And, PAI for the last couple of months has struggled really hard to keep up with demand. They're highly in demand. They probably hold.
They are. There's out of stock of a lot of kits, and when you need it, you need it. That's the only way you make money is get your trucks in, get them back out, get paid on them.
They hold the largest market share. I think that's pretty much a given. They have the biggest market share, so they're going to struggle the hardest to keep up. They're the most in demand, it just is what it is, right? You and everyone else wants their kit, so it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the advice. I was just curious. I figured I'd reach out to somebody that actually has real-time experience building engines with some different brand kits, and I haven't myself other than Genuine and for the most part PAI. And, I've tried to cut that one kit and it backfired, and then I saw another engine I tore down with the 6 busted skirts, and I just was kind of leery about it. But, I try to take my time and do my jobs right, and I stand behind them, warranty them, and I cut my own counter bores and do a lot of stuff myself. And I just try to do a really good quality job for the customers, and it's really paid off for me.
Yep.
But I was just trying to look at another source for engine kits. That would be a good product and not backfire on me.
Other than buying one of my kits, I'd say you can't really go wrong with the AFA kit. I mean. And of course, I'm being funny, but I really don't. I mean, I have personal experience. I've never put one in a truck. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have because I haven't. But it's not for any other reason than I haven't, right? But I have tested them.
Yeah.
And my sons use them
Yeah.
prolifically. So, you know.
Well, your kit coming out now, I see that's the one you're putting the coating on, right?
Yes, sir.
You're putting the different coatings on them. Okay, so is that similar to the HP or the high performance PAI kits? It's got the, it's got the black coating, like a charcoal looking coating on the piston skirts and the bearings.
Yep.
Is that similar to the same thing?
It's the exact same thing. It's not similar. It's the same product.
Okay. So and that's what you're fixing to open up with and start selling the kits.
Yep. We've extended that to everything though. We're coating the heads. We're coating the everything. The turbos, the manifolds, you name
Okay.
it.
So you're going to be selling new heads too as well?
Yeah. Our heads will have coated micro slick Teflon, basically coated valves, cryogenically treated valve springs, and Teflon coated cam bushings as well. I have the first prototype in my shop right now.
Yeah. That's good, man.
They're going to release this Wednesday.
Well, that's great. Maybe I can try a kit or something once you start getting them out there.
Yeah, for sure.
I know who you are, so I'll sure reach out to you. And I mean, the only bad thing with getting them out of state like that is some of the shipping. Getting over here to Georgia.
No, we have facilities everywhere. I'm partnered with Highway and Heavy Parts. We have facilities everywhere.
I'm pretty familiar with Highway and Heavy Parts.
For your budget line kit, I don't think you can really go wrong with the AFA. Their price point's awesome. If you're looking at customers that are something a little more, our kits. So
I've got a few customers that wants to spend the money. They don't mind spending money to get a better product. I had a glider that was a 389 that had a 12.7, and he kept wearing it out every year and just tons of blow by. And he had one of the old 12.7s with the bolt-on rods, no piston coolers, and just overheating his pistons and running at 500 horsepower, 550 or something like that. And I put him a 34.6E in there, and we done some PDI stuff, like exhaust manifold, a bigger turbo, stuff like that. But we used custom truck to get all the wiring, the wiring harness and
they're the shit.
piping and all that stuff. And it turned out really nice. But
I'm trying to get the owner a
there's
custom
cases
truck
that
here
I
on
need
the
a higher
show.
price.
The owner of custom truck.
Well, that would be
good.
good.
Talked into it, but anyway, brother,
they're a great company, man. The stuff I got is great.
Yep. I kept Dan here for an hour longer than I was supposed to. I gotta let him
Well,
go.
hey, thank y'all for your time. Thank you for your call. Thank you for taking my call. And y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you. Bye.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Hey, hang on now. All right, guys. I appreciate. He's ready to get a cheeseburger and a bed. I know that, but we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you very much. Long story short, guys, my guest tonight was Dan Denning. He's Double D, almost said D&D, Double D Mechanical.
Yeah, Double D Mechanical.
And you can find him on TikTok, right? As Double D Mechanical, or
yeah, our TikTok is Double D Mechanic, I believe.
Okay, so you can guys.
I don't keep track of this.
Follow him on TikTok. Check him out. Obviously, if you didn't figure it out, he's an excellent mechanic, very knowledgeable. You put a lot of the racing stuff up on your page?
Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of racing stuff. Our racing stuff's mostly on Mario's MHPD. We keep those two kind of whatever, but there'll be some this weekend. We're going to be racing in Ennis, Texas. So if you guys are interested in some cats going fast, that's where it will be.
Awesome. So again, guys, thank you, Dan. We appreciate all you guys for being here, and we appreciate all the guys in the comments helping out and helping me stay awake and laughing.
Yeah, the comments are good now.
Yep. Have a good night, guys. Thank you very much.